confidence up. I said, hey, that first interception he threw, I said, first off, it's not your fault. We got to catch the ball. I said, secondly, I'd much rather you throw interceptions right now in early July than on October 22nd, down at Hornet Stadium against East Canton. I mean, that's okay. We'll correct it. We're fine.
Hey, Coach, how valuable is it? You played Perry. I think it was your last game out over there. How valuable is it to play that type of competition for your guys, with a smaller group, not maybe getting the best look every day at practice?
No, it's we told our guys going into into the day that some of these teams and some of these athletes that we're going to see today will probably be the best that we see all year. And no offense to anybody else that we play on, and it's just that's the type of athletes that are here. And so we just thought, hey, listen, it's going to be good for us down the road. Whatever happens. It's a 7-on-7. We win, we lose. Hey, we just want to get better.
Yeah. I was really impressed with their effort out there because we all know that's one thing you can't teach is effort. Mm-hmm. And the Perry team was unreal, and they weren't afraid of them. They weren't backing down, so that's awesome. You got to feel good about that.
We better not.
Coach Matt Churko is joining us, head football coach of the Malvern Hornets. We are live here on Stark Media. It is the Kempthorne Motors 7-on-7 Kempthorne Classic, powered by Stark Media here at the Hall of Fame Village Sports Complex. We're going to talk a little bit more Malvern football. We'll let Coach go. So if you let me put you in the shoes of maybe a college coach who is going into a living room to talk to somebody about maybe having a prospective student athlete come to your school and play. This being at Malvern, you walk in the door. How do you sell Malvern football? Tell us what it's all about, what it means, your philosophy, and everything that goes into being a Hornet.
Well, to me, being a Malvern graduate, I couldn't imagine myself anywhere else. I really, there's nowhere else I'd rather be. I love Malvern. I love going out there on Friday nights and, whether it be at home or on the road and coaching, it's a passion. And, more than anything, we want our, kids to give obviously 100% effort, but we want them to be great leaders on and off the field. And it's something that we kind of, preach at school. As far as Brown local schools go, we're kind of growing. We're Division 6 for the first time in, let's just say we're out of the smallest division for the first time in about 20 years.
Wow. Okay.
Now, some of that has to deal with, competitive balance. But regardless, we're going to be Division 6 probably for the next couple of years. And I think that just goes to show for our community. It's really thriving. I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago, we were probably about just over 600 kids in our district, and this year we'll be over 700.
Oh wow, that's great.
So a lot of good things are happening down at Malvern. It's a great place to live. I love living in Carroll County. I live about 8 minutes from the school. And I'm going to be there forever, so I'll probably be here forever. But that's okay. I'm okay with that.
That's what you want.
And you got the beautiful school right there. I mean, I ate many, many, many pizzas from over there at Crossroads. So you got the beautiful school right over there. We talked before you came on about the program that you guys have developed, and you're in the playoffs every year. How difficult was it to deal with that offense of Lucas last year? I mean, the way they run that.
There's no words because you can't. I thought our young kids did a great job trying to, imitate it throughout the week. But it's totally different once you get out there and go against it. And it was. I thought if I said after the game, if I had to do something different, I don't know what I'd do differently because they were just better than us. Put it that way.
Yeah, 2 years ago, Coach, when Mike Cook was the head coach of St. Thomas, Antonio Hall was actually defense coordinator. I was the offense coordinator. We played Lucas in the second round, and we had a ton of injuries to linebackers. And I was actually just telling TJ this story the other day. We're scoring on offense. We weren't worried about scoring. And then they come out double tight, double wing. I think the lightest guy was like 220, like even their quarterback. And they're pitching it. Their quarterback's pitching it to the wing. And the quarterbacks come around lead blocking, and we're sending like 160-pound DBs at them, just like torpedoing in, trying to take people out. It was like a bug on a windshield. I mean, I feel your pain. They have had 6 possessions and scored 6 touchdowns on us.
Yeah, that's
did
probably
not
about
throw the
same
ball
for us.
one time. I think it was 63 runs, 0 passes. So I feel your pain there.
Wow.
You know,
That's
the other thing for you guys coming from a smaller school, small area, right? When and people, you know, obviously we grew up down there, and I became a larger body. But when you've got guys at Malvern like McClellan and Steenberg, they had 6'5", 285-pound guys. That kind of changes the level of for you guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing going into this year is we really like our offensive line.
Yeah.
We think we're going to be pretty darn good up front, and that's going to be good because especially when you got a young quarterback and you're going to have a young tailback and just young skill guys, having a good offensive line is going to be a difference in a lot of games for us. And so, yeah, we bring back, Frank McClellan, big kid. He actually got an offer from Lake Erie here a couple weeks ago. And I think he'll get a few more D2 offers. Zach Babicek's back, and he has really transformed his body, whether it be through wrestling or just weightlifting. Kyle Bossert started at end. He'll be a guard for us this year. He'll be a two-way guy. Right there, those 3 are pretty good.
He played really well at defensive end for you. And Babicek, he's your center?
He was the center, but we're going to move him out to tackle, and we got a sophomore that we're going to put at center. And then we have another junior that's going to step in at left tackle. So, like I said, we like our 5 guys up front. We do.
That's important.
It's very important.
It all starts right there. Well, Coach, again, thank you for being a part of our great event. We would love to have you back again next year. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished and done. We look forward to watching the Malvern Hornets. I'm sure we'll see you this year, and go get them. Stay healthy and good luck to you.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it, guys.
You bet it. There he goes. Coach Matt Churko with the Malvern Hornets, ready to go back out onto the field. And again, we are broadcasting live here on Stark Media. Check us out on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter. Keyword Stark Media. It's a 7-on-7 classic right now. We got the Trench Life Challenge for the big fellas going on behind us. We've got teams like Canton McKinley, Malvern, Warren Harding, Lake County, Perry, Benedictine, Euclid, Maple Heights, Flint Hill, Akron East, just to name a few. Only $10 to get in. Come on out and see us. Also, you get a $5 food voucher to go over to the food trucks and grab an Italian sausage, maybe some French fries, some lemonade. I don't know what else they got over there, but I'll be heading over here very soon.
Tell you what, these guys are making some plays out here.
Tab just dropped that deep stick nod right under the wire, man. A little too high beater, Coach Sirackman. Hit that fake on that out, went right behind that safety. Dime ball, baby.
I'll tell you what, they got some players. I watched them in the first game against Maple Heights, and, Maple Heights really has a good offense, and they were struggling to move the ball a little bit.
Rosie in the house. All right.
Rosie here.
Rosie's in the house.
Oh, there she is.
We're going to get her on the microphone, man.
Should have brought a cookie for her today. I thought about it.
Ooh. Got a couple
BQA
guys out here, too.
Get her ready to go.
Get an elephant ear over there or something.
Hey, we want to thank our good friends from the Bulldog 100, Canton Insurance Agency, Nationwide Mortgage, Nathan's Patio, Kempthorne Motors, Deca Lash, The Spirit of Stark, Simon Says Productions. Again, couldn't do it without you, and this is our kickoff event to what we've got going on Stark Media, and throughout the broadcast here, we'll be telling you what we're about, what we're going to do, where we're going, what we're doing, and it's an exciting time. I know that. We're going to be talking to Eric Kempthorne, I think, here pretty soon. Yep. We're going to bring Joe Bogdan up. We'll get some more head coaches of some of our football teams that are with us here today. Antonio Hall. I would love to get Steve Arnold up here. Steve here today?
Yes,
he is.
Oh, my God. I'll tell you what. Steve Arnold, he's the head football coach at Warren, longtime head basketball coach at Harding. Made the switch over. Just saw a heck of a play over here right now.
You got mossed.
Wow,
20.
that was unbelievable. And just I was doing I believe it was Canton McKinley versus Warren Harding tournament game over at the Civic Center. I'd never met Coach before, and I'm going to tell you what. He's probably in my top 3 all-time favorite head coaches. Just from the first time we met, how we just hit it off, and I never thought he'd be coaching football. I thought he was a great basketball coach, but he's coaching football now. But he's just such a great man. He's a terrific coach. I got to tell you, the first time I met him, he had on a shirt and tie that would make anybody envious that was ever on the cover of GQ magazine. And that's the first thing I said. It wasn't say, "Hey, Coach, how are you? I'm so-and-so." I said, "Where did you get that tie?" And it took off from there. And he is just a wonderful person. And I would love to get to see Coach and talk to him up here throughout. Good to see Coach Malone is here today. I had to do a second take when I saw Coach at the table when I walked in today. Always good to see Greg Malone. Got his McKinley gear on today. And
legendary guy, John McAllister.
That's right.
Walking around.
So
John's put out a recruiting service for a long time, doing
I remember
evaluations.
him coming out to practices, man. I mean, he's been hitting the track for a long time coach, even before that.
40, 50 years probably now.
You know, and that's a guy that you'd love to talk to as well, because he's seen this game evolve so much. The game now is complete. To me, it feels different than when I played it 20 years ago in high school and what he's seen. I remember I'm coaching there at Glen Oak back in 2011, and McAllister comes walking up to me, Glen Oak, we're getting ready to play Massillon over there at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium, and I get this little tug on the back. Who should I be watching on that offensive line? You know, I mean, he's got the eye for it. He understands the attitude mixed in with the mental side, being smart. You got to be the full package if you want to consider yourself a future college player. You know, John McAllister, he understands that stuff. So, I mean, you talked about the recruiting reports.
McAllister report he's been putting out for
he does a great one.
Time.
Your guy, Mark Porter, does another one.
ScoutingOhio.com, absolutely. Just saw Mark on Sunday, worked out his son DJ, 7th grade quarterback in the Canfield school district.
There's a football school that plays hard.
Hey, week one.
Canfield Cardinals. Whoa, if you're not physically ready for them, man, get out of the way.
Listen, the number 1 quarterback in the state of Ohio, class of 23, is Brock Lowry, BQA guy, 5 years, number 1 ranked quarterback, is heading to Indiana.
Ooh, okay.
I'll tell you what, Jim showed me him probably 3 years ago now when he was 2 years ago now when he was actually a freshman. So 3 years ago at when he was working him out, and that kid is going to be good. And he told me, so this is a D1 kid, and Ballard turned him into a D1 kid. But week 1, Canfield and West Branch.
Ooh,
that'll be a fun
2
one.
good quarterbacks going at it. That should be a heck of a game.
Where's that one at, you know?
I do not know where it's at, but I think, it'll be a lot of points scored is my guess.
Canfield scrimmage in Salem, too. I've been doing workouts over at Salem High School with Coach Johnson. Been working with Jackson. Let me tell you something, man. Jackson Johnson is 6'1" or 2", man. He's got D1 offers all over the place. The kid is tight. He's twitchy, left-handed. The only thing working against him, he's 5'11", but the bottom line is the kid can flat out play. His dad has done an unbelievable job with him. He calls 65, 70% of his own plays at the line of scrimmage. That was last year as a junior. I mean, his IQ is off the chart. Fierce competitor, baseball kid. Love working with him. Got a workout down at Salem this weekend again. So Salem and Canfield will have a scrimmage, and then they tee up against Drew DeShields and West Branch. West Branch losing some guys off that squad last year, but anytime you got a DeShields behind center, that kid can make a lot of plays. Just picked up another offer from Northern Illinois. Dominoes starting to fall, a little bigger dominoes, I should say, for Drew DeShields.
Yeah, but the Shields and West Branch certainly synonymous with one another. Here, Rosie just gave me a dirty look. Like, where's my cookie? Hey, Rosie.
What's up, bro? I like your bow.
Oh, too funny. So I'll tell you what, we were having a great time here. I am impressed with the folks that have showed up here today.
Yeah,
the
great turnout.
People came out and
from
supported.
Virginia.
People from Virginia. Yes, to check out their squad. And I'll tell you what, Flint Hill. Out of Virginia. And I tell you what, we got plenty of room for you. It's only $10 to get in. Come on out. We're at the Hall of Fame Village Complex. You can see it. You can get here right off of 13th Street. You can come in off of Clairview. You can see it when you're driving by 77. $10 to get in. We'll give you $5 for a food voucher at the food trucks. So you get some food, you get some lemonade, watch some 7-on-7 football. We got the big boys behind us with the Trench Life Challenge. We got a great crowd in here, but we also have plenty of room for you. If you're just getting out of work, if you're driving around, you want to get a little football fix in today, stop on over. We'll be here till probably at least 8 o'clock here, I'm guessing, tonight, maybe, or so around there. We got a championship game coming up a little bit later on, some trophies to hand out. And we're just having some fun.
Man.
So Eric Kempthorne,
can we talk for a second about how the truth that is coming out of this Cincinnati TAP team?
Yes.
Now, they were in the state championship last year, or they made it to the Final Four, I believe.
I know they at least got to the state semis.
Yeah.
I don't know if they made it to the championship game.
They got a squad.
They are athletic.
They look
dudes
ready to go right now.
Yes.
Like I'm saying, put the ball on the tee, and let's go. They look ready. They look ready to go. They got some chiseled young men over there, and they're looking good. They got the black and gold get up today, and Cincinnati Tap. Keep your eyes on them as we move along. All right, we are very happy to be joined by Eric Kempthorne, joining us here on the wait for it, the Kempthorne stage. First of all, Eric, thank you so much for being a part of this great event. The support you put behind it. Obviously, the name Kempthorne is synonymous with a lot of great things in the area. But football, the Kempthorne name, the Kempthorne stage, you've got a lot of great things going on. And welcome aboard, my man. It's great to see you and talk to you.
Thank you for having me up here. I was just telling a school teacher from the Canton City Schools. I said, I remember 1978 practicing on that dirt patch over there. I said that was my field. Yeah. It wasn't AstroTurf out here. We bleed red and black. Dad, of course, at McKinley, and I loved my every moment at McKinley in the 70s. And so our heart is right here in Canton. But more than that, our heart is with all of these athletes and Stark County athletics in particular. I mean, it's just what a fabulous area, community to be a young man in sports. Mm-hmm. It's just the support that we're here to offer them. And we'll continue to do that to make them, young men and young women. It's a community effort.
Yeah, the support, the opportunities that present themselves. And we're going to throw it around here, and we'll have everybody jump in, and we can talk with Eric. But I got to tell you, real quick, funny little thing. When I was growing up, and we grew up, I grew up on Lakeside Avenue, over here. Okay, and my mom, dad, and my sister, and this was kind of my home during the weekends. Was Fawcett in the field house, whether it was McKinley, whether it was Timken. That's just what I did for years. And on Saturday mornings, we would come up to the Kempthorne dealership, and we would watch Skip Horniak play records in the showroom from 9 until noon on Saturdays. That was a long time ago.
I remember.
I mean, it's just stuff that stays with you, and I can see it plain as day, like it was yesterday. And I just want to thank you for those memories and all you do for everybody, and continue to support everything, because it's people like the Kempthorns. It's people that it's people. I'm going to stop it right there. It's about people.
Yeah, it truly is. And Canton is just a very unique place. And in what's happening now, this transformation, this dome behind us, these facilities you see, it speaks to where, how Canton has really pulled itself up by the bootstraps, because we had some moments there. I think we all looked at each other and said, what's going on in this town?
Right.
I mean, the people know the story with us that we had every manufacturer that we represent that said, get these franchises out of Canton. And we said, no way, we're not leaving. We're staying right here on Cleveland Avenue, because we believe in this community and we believe in this town. And so we are just so excited to see what's transforming here around these complexes.
Now, it's great what you guys have done down there on Cleveland Avenue, and even the addition to the Mercedes Service Center. I installed those 4 steel rolling doors that come down, and we matched the paint to the exact silver, or I don't know what the color of it was called, to the Mercedes color that had been brought out on the line. But you talk about facilities, you have a new one that's rolled out there up in green. Talk about what's going on up there.
Yeah, we do. We rolled that out in 2021. That's the Jaguar Land Rover of Akron, and it's just a beautiful facility. If you haven't seen it going up, it's just right off of 619 Arlington to 619 at the light there. It was the old schoolhouse there, but very happy with it and very, very excited. It's a little rough right now to look out in your lot and see zero inventory. I was telling somebody, they said, well, you don't have many. I said, no, I have zero. I said, now they're coming, but as of last Thursday, I had 0 in Land Rovers, but there's truckloads coming, and that's the good news. This thing's going to break. So things get a lot better for everybody, and the consumer too. Let's face it, the consumer's frustrated. We're all frustrated, but it's getting better fast, and that's the good news. And we encourage people to go up and take a look at that new facility. It's just a beautiful place.
We got to talk about Dad for a little bit, right? I before we get any booze that come up when I talk about all my days spent up growing around Ann Arbor, it was a special place to me. It's been a special place to you and your family. I have a father-in-law who was a Michigan guy. His center was my father, both Michigan men.
Yeah.
Boy, just a proud university. And you talked before with us about the toughness of these guys when, the early days of Michigan football, they kicked Ohio State's butt. They did. And that's where you had our old coach, Francis Schmidt. He comes out, he says, listen, we got to figure out some way to incentivize our players at Ohio State to want to beat Michigan. So they started the gold pants tradition. And they said, well, what does that mean? He says, you know what? We're going to go out there. We're going to put our pants on one leg at a time, just like they do. We kind of got things turned around, got that overall score back a little closer now. I think maybe Michigan holds a 5 or 6 game advantage over us. But your dad meant so much to that program. He's meant so much to this area. Growing up around him, when you talked about these guys that they're players, they leave to go fight war. They're in trenches. They're in the forest. They're fighting Hitler, one of the most evil people to ever run the world. And then to come back and play football and think that it's easy to them at that point. We always kind of compare football to war, but those are real bullets flying at you. You come back here and play this game, you almost think it would be easy for those guys at that point. But the toughness that your dad had, all those players had, and what that was like growing up for you, and he instilled a lot of that into you.
He did. He was the best dad anybody could ever ask for. He never ever raised a hand to us. All he did is looked at you, and he took one look at you. He was a let's face it, he was a fighter pilot. Had 101 missions. All American and everything he had done in football, and he was an imposing man, and he was a big teddy bear to us, and never, like I say, never raised a hand. But when he looked at you, I can remember as a kid, coming from the military, of course, he said, I want to hear 3 things out of you. Yes, sir. No excuse, sir. I said, okay, that's how we're going to do this. So I know he never had a single problem with any of us because there was just
everybody fell in line.
Expectations were pretty clear, to say the least.
Yes,
sir. No, sir. No excuses. Sir.
I said at his funeral, I kind of had recited the story, and I said, and I tested that one time, and I realized that was not a good way to go. So that was the end of that.
He wasn't lying.
Oh my gosh! Eric Kempthorne is our guest, joining us here on the Kempthorne stage at the Kempthorne Kickoff Classic, powered by Stark Media. Sam Berkwin, TJ Downing, Jimmy Ballard, Drew Sirackman, Mark Milano is out running around. Dana Rohde's out there running around. We got the whole crew here today, and we're very glad you have joined us either in person today or watching and listening on our YouTube channel, Stark Media, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media platforms. We are there for you with Stark Media. So, Eric, let's talk about moving forward, I guess, in the car business, how things will look 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. How do you project where you want to be, the philosophies moving forward, technology, customers' needs and wants? I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot to think about.
There's a lot happening. Yeah, there's a lot happening. There's no doubt. Electric's here. You can deny it all you want. It's not going to go away. Do we think that what's the percent that the cars on the road are going to be electric? That's the elephant in the room. Mm-hmm. It's not for everybody. I mean, that's the reality. And now the manufacturers are they're obviously, we're going that way. Everything we sell has an electric. Whether it's a Volkswagen or a Mazda or Mercedes, everybody's got electric. I'll tell you, you drive that EQS Mercedes, and you'll never get in another car the rest of your life. I mean, it is absolutely phenomenal.
So where and when do I pick that up?
That's right.
I know.
Hey, you got to work on this guy. Right.
My wife's listening.
I'm working right now. I'm working on it right now. I'm not letting him get away from here.
Here's the good. Here's the spin. Here's the positive. Once you drive those cars, you will just absolutely be floored, and you'll realize that the technology that gives you the pep, the performance, the handling, the quietness, you're just floored. But it doesn't stop the reality of, can everybody live with 300-400 miles before you have to stop and charge?
Yeah.
We always say we think 400 or 500 is the holy grail. If you can get them to 500 on a charge, you can go from here to Charlotte, charge overnight, and keep going to Florida. But if you can't do that and you got to charge them every 200 miles, then it's not for the masses. It's for a lot of people. and it's a great car, but it's not for the masses. But once we get past that holy grail of the mileage, I think you have to go feel them and drive them to believe them. But they are truly amazing. It's an amazing car. They're very heavy. Those batteries make them 6,000-7,000 pound cars. So you feel that, and you realize you're really in a performance vehicle. It'll throw you back. That Jaguar I-Pace will put your head in the back. You'll snap your head in the back seat. I mean, somebody said there was a warning, not a little somewhere. They actually saw a warning that said "careful," because I mean, it is amazing. So that part of electric is fabulous. We believe obviously the dealer body is essential. We believe it has to be a high quality dealer body, which means in our case we will not sell a car over MSRP. We will take care of our customers. We will do whatever it takes to make sure that the service is there after the sale. The dealer body is needed. If we do the right job as a dealer body, we take care of the customers. We provide a tremendous service to the community in servicing and selling and servicing these cars. So do I think that all this starts to change too dramatically? No, but it is going to change. But the cars they're coming, and there's nothing we can do about them in terms of electric. And I'm excited about it. I'm not a deterrer. I'm just it's different. It's very different.
Yeah. I grew up watching the Jetsons. I thought cars were going to be flying by now.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming, my friend.
Somewhere there are cars that already happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you tell someone who's looking for a car and they're unsure about, well, if I buy this car, are we going to be switching to electric? Do you got a lot of lease stuff going on that you see people going that way and instead of buying and doing some leases?
They do. We do. Leasing is still a great option. Again, it's not for everybody because how many miles do you drive? Do you like a new car every once in a while? I get people that say, I buy a car and I keep it for 10 years. Then I give it to my kids and I buy another one. Well, leasing's probably not your thing. Although there's other people that hey, I want a new car every 3 years, and leasing's a great way to go. So it depends where you're at in your driving habits and your lifestyle.
If you had to guess right now, what do you think the population drivers of electric versus gas, and where do you think that would get to in, say, the next decade or so? What the percentage would be?
Well, let me tell you, the manufacturers think it's going to be 50%.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
There's no doubt. They're coming. And I just read. We all watch our news feeds. I just saw where they're all they're going to start cutting what we call ICE, internal combustion engines. They're starting to cut back. They're just starting already. The supplies are going to be cut back, and they're going to push that over to electric. I will. Let me say this. I think an electric hybrid right now is a wonderful way to go. You can get a car that runs electric for 70, 80, maybe 100 miles, and then it switches to gas, and then and then you charge it up overnight in your garage, and it goes back. For my wife, she'd never burn any gas for a whole month because she just runs out to the grocery store and back. She'd be on electric the whole time, and that's a wonderful way to go. And then yet the car is still available for, hey, we want to take a road trip, you take the car. So that's very, very popular, and I see that as having a higher percentage, to be frank with you, than the manufacturers think it's going to have. Because I think people still want that security of if I want to jump in my car and get out of Dodge, I want to be able to go and not not be told I can't because I didn't charge it.
That's true. All right, we're going to bring in Mark Milano, who is roaming out there with the 3 fields. He's got the microphone all decked out in his beautiful Stark Media gear. Pony, what's happening out there?
Well, all I know is we don't need roads where this team's going. How's that sound?
I've heard that quote before.
That was and your father, Mr. Kempthorne. I mean, when I think about the Hall of Fame weekend, he's the guy. I mean, for years, he provided every car that we needed for Hall of Fame weekend. Thank you so much for everything that you and your family has done for here in Stark County.
Thank you.
And catching up with some of these coaches, though, it's pretty cool. I was talking to Blaine Saipaia, your favorite, Jim.
Saipaia.
You love saying that.
Yeah.
Just talking to him about what they're trying to do with the 2 teams and the fact that they're really excited about the fact that they can get so many kids, so many reps now that they weren't going to be able to do that before. So, you start asking, well, how are you going to wind up looking this year? I think this McKinley team, they're pretty excited about this. And when you look at some of the additions that they've made on that coaching staff, big Kevin Henderson coming aboard.
Great to see Kevin back.
Yeah, I think they're going to be pretty good. And Steve Arnold, who I had him with me but I couldn't get your attention when I had him over there.
Oh, my bad. I got
one of my quarterbacks, Ballard
before
Quarterback Academy, playing for Coach Arnold.
But Sam, about a month ago, they had a camp over at Walsh, and Steve Arnold was there. And I made it a point to tell him that you said hello and how much you enjoyed talking to him. And he said, you make sure you tell Sam I said hello.
I
so
appreciate that.
we will get Coach
We got to
Arnold
hook up
on
with
here.
Coach. We got to hook up with him. Yeah, he does a great job. So, Mark, with this, for people that maybe aren't familiar with 7-on-7, they think, okay, well, is it 7 combined? Is it 14 people? Where are the positions? What is their alignment? Is there a center? Kind of give us a little insight on what a 7-on-7 truly is and how it works.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a receiver and some quarterbacks, and you've got one guy that sits down on his knee and he snaps the ball back to the quarterback, and that's it. Now, the coaches in normal scrimmages that we've gone to, they won't let any of the coaches be behind that offense while they're out there on the field. They have to be over on the sideline.
Okay.
But we as media get to be out there. And so it was really pretty cool standing literally behind that quarterback, watching what he's reading and making that pass.
Gives you a whole new perspective of what it's like to be behind the center and to see some of the stuff you can see. You know, Mark, when you're looking out to the middle of the field, the first thing you should do is identify one high safety or two high safeties, right? Middle of the field open or closed, if you will. If you see one high safety, you know it's going to be cover 3 or cover 1 based on the leverage of the corners and if their shoulders are square. And these are some of the things that the quarterback should be looking for to try and figure out what defenses they're running. But to be able to stand behind it, to see it, it's a whole new perspective on what we go through as quarterbacks, even without a rush.
Yeah, but I think that the important thing is that so much for those receivers fighting to get off that line of scrimmage, those defensive backs getting used to having that hand-to-hand combat when they're coming off there. There's some great things that come of this, but when we look at some of these schools don't throw the ball that often. And you're saying, well, why are you here at a 7-on-7? Well, you know, your talent changes from one year to the next. And maybe that next year, Kirtland may actually have to throw the football.
Wait,
Let me tell you
the
something.
Perry Panthers going to be?
I was going to tell you, Kirtland's going to throw the ball 100 times like Perry Panthers are going to throw it 100 times.
Sam, we did
Some
a
things
game.
are never going to change.
We did a game, I think, 2 years ago, and
Hoover.
Perry ran 3 pass plays in a row. TJ came down to me, and I said, I think Coach had a stroke over on the sideline. They threw 3 pass plays in a row.
I think it was more than that. I think it was,
I think it was like 4 or 5.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
And it was
I want to say it was at least a handful.
You know, I talked to Zach Slates, our head coach, the other day, and him and I got a chance to compete against each other back in the day. And so he's telling me, he goes, you know what? This is the first year. He goes, I don't have any linemen. He goes, but I got a ton of skill guys. I'm like, so the wing tee's gone?
No. Forget about it. Forget about it.
Your boy just needs to give me a call and let me start working with some of his kids. Spin that rock, man.
Spin the rock.
Like I did with Maxie Baker.
You know,
Spin the rock.
when we start talking about guys that roam the sideline, Mark, you always do it for us, man. But John McAllister, you've done it for a long time, man. Joining us up here on the Kempthorne stage here at the Kempthorne Motors Kickoff Classic. Man, it's great to have you. It's always been great. We kind of hyped you up about 15, 20 minutes ago, and we said you were going to come up here and your scouting report that you've done for a long time. You were a coach for a long time. You've seen the game of football and how it's developed, and it's changed, and it's gone in a different direction. But there's still those same basic fundamentals and principles there, right?
I think so. I believe that. You know, it's changed some, but you still have to have structure. You still have to have discipline a little bit. You still have to be able to block and tackle. You know, the game's changed for the best, I think. You know, with practices now, you can't practice as long as you do. When we were young, you know, Coach Trussell and I even joked about it. You know, you just hit heads all the time. In spring practice at the college level, that's what you did. You just in spring practice to see who was going to play. But it's for the best. It's taken me a while with the passing game, and Jim said, you know, spreading it out. I think it's good, though. I think it's better for the game.
I mean, from an offensive lineman standpoint, though, you know, we're used to being in that road grader system. You talked about Tress. I mean, a lot of people wanted to say the offense is vanilla because on first, second down, you're running power, you're running Dave, you're pulling guards, you're working a double team on the front side. But now you see a lot of teams, they're coming out, even when Urban Meyer took over down there, it's first, second, third down. You're passing it all the way through. And, man, we've just had our eyes on this Cincinnati Taft team out here. I know you probably know a little something about them, but as from an offensive line standpoint, the footwork it has to be paramount now because going into that 5, 6, 7 step drop, man, there's a premium on what we used to say is, as a quarterback, you got 4 to 5 seconds to be clean in the pocket there. After that, you're on your own, man. Now it's got to be a little bit longer.
Yeah. Plus, quarterbacks are so much more athletic, many of them, so they can. I call it escapability and things like that. So, that's important. By the way, the Taft, number 5, is a junior. He might be one of the best receivers in Ohio, I think.
It looks like it.
I mean,
it
and
looks like it.
Ohio hasn't really produced a lot of great receivers. He's only going to be a junior. I'm talking recently, but I think he really looks good. And then number 9 will be an outside linebacker, Elias Randolph. And, he's got to work on it, but they had him at the defensive end. He's too slender. I can't get big enough to play that.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of good, for me, a lot of it's just watching kids and communicating. The biggest thing in recruiting is communication, and the kids know that I'm honest, and so I'm able to communicate. And you're going to see good players and a lot of young guys. So this is really nice, by the way.
I mean, recruiting has really changed too. I mean, it's, hey, how quick can I get to the NFL? How much money I can make? It becomes pretty easy for Brian Hartline when you got a guy that goes 11, 12, 13, and round 1. At that point, you're just walking into the living room and saying, do you want to make money? Do you want to come to the best university in the country? And you want to compete for a national championship?
Oh, for sure. I think, I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, but, you'll come out with the top 10 recruit, the recruiting guy. What's it called? I can't even think what it's called. In college, the recruiting coordinator.
Yeah.
But they say, but those aren't the best guys. The best guys have to be, honestly, at Toledo, at Kent State, and those places because they can't afford to make mistakes.
Yep.
And if I come to your door, I call you, and I'm from Bowling Green. Even a high school coach, if I say, "Yeah, this is John McAllister from Bowling Green," yeah, we got a couple of guys that can play. Or is it John McAllister from Ohio State? Yeah, what do you want to know? So there's just so much. I know they do a great job, but still, the good ones really need to be lower level sometimes.
Well, I think now here's what you need to know when you get that call from Ohio State. When's Eric Kempthorne showing up with the Mercedes because of NIL? Is there going to be a duffel bag full of money in the back of it? I mean, that whole landscape has completely changed.
Yes, but that went on before.
It's just legal now. That's all. That's the difference. It's just legal now.
It's legal now, Jim. I mean, I'm not. I've been really close. I've done it for 30. I've been really close to a lot of staffs, and a lot of guys have bag guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, even ones close to home in Ohio. but it's like, Jim, it's legal now.
I think it's amusing that Nick Saban is all bent out of shape about Texas A&M saying that are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? That man never passed an envelope or one of the alumni at Alabama.
Nothing to see here,
man.
I know for a fact that a coach from Ohio, high school coach, got $10,000 to work at camp one year down at Alabama to drive. So it's $10,000. So, but that's just what I'm just so not worried. But I've been in it and I like it. But pretty soon you're going to see the Power Fives. There's going to be a total new division, and there are going to be about 60 schools, and then they're going to keep the money. So I worry that these kids,
like the MAC.
Yeah, the MAC.
What's going to happen to the MAC? I mean, you've already seen it, John, with USC and UCLA coming to the Big Ten, and now Oregon, Washington, and a lot of those other schools are starting to come. You're going to see, like you said, 3 conferences with 20 teams. And where does that leave schools like, Toledo and Akron and Kent?
Well, the other problem is they shut off the money too to the MAC schools in Division II. They're not getting that money from the basketball championships and the playoffs and stuff. So but then hopefully they'll find a way.
It was interesting what he said about the MAC school recruiting pitch compared to an Ohio State.
Yeah.
So Urban Meyer actually offered me my first scholarship when he was at Bowling Green. And I'm sitting in my house over there on 37th Street in Arnold. I get the phone call, and he says, TJ, this is Coach Meyer from Bowling Green. I want to offer you a scholarship. He goes, I'm sure you're probably not going to take it. At the time, I was only a sophomore going into my junior year, and, you could tell things are on the horizon. I mean, people are getting offered now in like 7th grade, 7th, 8th grade,
it's insane,
which is crazy. I mean, and I thought, me personally, I thought they did a disservice to a guy like Danny Clark over there at Massillon. When you're a 9th grader and you got a full scholarship from Ohio State, that target on your back is enormous at that point, and that's a lot of pressure to put on a kid who can't even drive a car yet.
Well, I think also he started the first game as a freshman playing, I think, Glen Oak or somebody.
Yeah.
No, I think, and I'm not, because back in those days they were pretty tough. They're coming back, but
there's your guy, number 5, big play.
Right at the buzzer.
Wow.
That must have been the game winner right there. They're rushing the field. Taft.
In fact, he transferred from Woodward, Cincinnati Woodward. So, he's going to be really good, I think. And he's a good kid, I think.
It's fast.
Wow. That's impressive. Yeah, Taft is playing Cleveland Heights, and I think that was that might have been the game winner right there. Again, I kind of want to regroup here a little bit, tell you what we're doing. Stark Media, live at the Kempthorne Classic, powered by Stark Media at the Hall of Fame Village Sports Complex. It's the 7-on-7 Classic. We've had some incredible 7-on-7 football going on. We've got plenty of room for you. Come on by if you're just getting out of work, you're around the neighborhood, you're around the Hall of Fame, or you just want to get a little football fix and some food from some great food trucks. Come on over and join us. It's only $10 to get in. $5 goes right to a food voucher for the food trucks. You can have dinner, watch some great football, mingle, see some. I'm sure you'll see some friends here because that's what we do in Stark County and in football, and we love to have camaraderie and talk about football 365 days a year. I'm Sam Berkman, joined by my crew, the best in the business: TJ Downing, Jimmy Ballard, Mark Milano, Drew Sirackman, Lee Foster. Everybody's here. We want to thank Coach Churko from Malvern for joining us. Eric Kempthorne, obviously. Kempthorne Motors for joining us. John McAllister is here as well. John, I want to keep rolling here with the college football theme, if I could, for a minute. I am 52. Okay, I am a traditionalist to the core. Now, I'm not saying you can't move me and can't cross me over to accept change in things, but it's going to be hard. I hate what's going on right now. I hate it. USC and UCLA have no business being in the Big Ten. Zero. I know why they're there.
Yeah.
CASH and big piles of it. I get it. I understand the TV networks. I understand that they wag the dog. I understand that. I don't like it. And I'm afraid you're right. It's going to go to 2 super conferences, and a lot of teams, a lot of kids are going to get shut out. We're going to lose rivalries. We're going to lose regionalization. We're going to lose me poking you and you poking me about my team beat your team. You're going to limit fans traveling to conference games because it's just too far away and too expensive.
Right.
And I know we're not going to look back. I just want to be on record now. I can't stand it. And maybe I'm old school, and I'll get over it at some point, but I don't like it. Where do you fit?
Well, I think it's simply like the next level to the pros. And I think they're going to start treating it like that.
Oh, and I really don't like
more and more so. And I just think that's what's going to happen. And the other thing we didn't mention, I would guess, I don't know this, I do know some things, but I would guess that the Ohio States won't play Toledo, they won't be able to play those guys.
No.
And Toledo, Kent State, those guys go to Ohio State.
They depend on that money to support their athletic programs. I mean, that's $1 million or $1.2 million. That supports all
I remember
their
Gary Blackney back in Bowling Green. He was telling me once, he said, we go play Purdue in Indiana, those guys get our butts kicked, get banged up. And the alumni are mad because, we're not winning.
Yeah.
So, and then that's it's just what it's going to be. So we have to find some way to adjust to it.
Yeah.
And, Division II, I think Division III will be okay because they get a lot of money from private sources and stuff like that. And I think that it's the MAC level. It's going to hurt. They're hurting now. They're hurting for money now.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to affect? And again, I'm a traditionalist, so I won't call it what it is now. How do you think it's going to affect 1AA?
Well, it's the same thing.
Same thing.
It's the same thing as MAC. If you talk, like Youngstown State and that conference they're in.
Yeah.
There are MAC schools that don't want to play those guys. the top level guys, South Dakota, North Dakota. I think it's going to hurt all those guys, and I think it's going to eventually hurt basketball. I think the pretty soon, what they call that in March Madness, that may not be quite the same, because it's just I'm just conjecturing on that. I just guessing that.
You're probably right.
I mean, take the March Madness field, Sam. You've covered Mount Union football for a long time. Jim, you played there. I love the style you still have the tournament. You got 32 teams.
Yep.
Everybody's getting a shot. Makes it a little bit different. Makes it has a better feel to it. To me, though, to touch on something you said here about eliminating maybe what we call that warm-up game.
Yeah.
I never liked those. I felt like I played some of my worst games when I did that. Because you wake up in the morning, you see, what? There's a reason I'm here at Ohio State, and there's a reason this guy's here at Bowling Green. I can come out here and play my B game, and I can still win by 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So that I was doing a disservice to myself. You got to have guys that are mentally tougher than that. Sometimes, you have to be able to fight through all those things inside of your head. But, we would come out, you play Northern Illinois first game of the season, and by week 2, you're down in Austin playing Texas. So you better fire it up real freaking quick, man.
That's right. That's right.
I'd like to see them, like you said, TJ, take out a game like that, which of course would hurt teams in the conference.
That's $1 million every time you show up for
exactly. But then what you do is you expand it from 4 to 8, or 12.
Right.
I mean,
totally
I would love
agree.
to see, like Georgia was kind of they were good. They were good all season, but you weren't sure how it was going to all play out through the SEC championship and then into the playoffs. Give me another team like that might just get hot at the right time. Instead of winning a bowl game, then all of a sudden they win that bowl game. Now they're in the second round. Then they go play in the. I love that. Like you said, Teach, that's what we've done in Division III since since the 80s.
Right. I think
John,
It's a whole new world.
You've done this recruiting stuff for a long time. Where can everybody get your stuff at?
Well, I don't do it as much as I used to, and the biggest thing is I make lists and talk to college coaches. I don't put out a directory anymore or anything like that. What I do now,
You do some interviews and stuff. I see you've had a lot of great
video
kids come on.
video podcast. Well, what it helps me there is I think it's really important to know the kid. And so I get on there with them, and you can learn a lot about a player, but doing video podcasts and things like that. But that's really I'll be 74 in 2 weeks. 74. So, this is fun. I love to do this. I love to come to this area, and Stark County and Massillon and Kent McKinley and all these schools. I just enjoy this area too.
It's beautiful, man.
John, thank you so much for coming over. Continuing success with everything you do, and we'll hope to see you
Maybe I
again
can
soon.
help you someday. I know the guy out there. He works as hard as anybody. You know it.
He does.
I see him on the sidelines.
He works
every
hard.
Game.
And we always hope he doesn't have inclement weather, but sometimes we wish for it because it's just funny sometimes. All right, we're going to go out
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. We are Stark Media live here at the Kempthorne Classic, the 7-on-7, powered up by Stark Media. Sam Berkman, TJ Downing, and the crew, Jimmy Ballard. Mark Milano is with us, kind of roving about the complex here tonight. And I will tell you what, he is going to bring in one of my all-time favorite coaches of high school sports, and just a great man, and that is Steve Arnold, the head football coach of Warren Harding. Mark, take it away with my man, Coach Steve, down there.
Coach, the hardest working man in all of Warren is here. Talk a little bit about this facility and what you think about everything that's going on here today.
Number one, our superintendent and administration has done a great job of planning this facility, and now you're seeing the construction taking place. This wellness center is going to be unreal when it's all completed. 2 floors, a track, full football field, offices, bistro, weight room, a medical center, which is obviously in a centralized location where the school is. So, you can obviously get to the medical center from any side of town. So we can't wait till it's all completed.
Now, you said that over on the visitor side, they're going to tear that down. You're going to put new locker rooms in there also?
Locker rooms and stands, on the visitor side. So we won't have the double decker on the visitor side. It'll just be a single deck. So it's in phases, but I tell you what, a lot of dirt and concrete's been moved in the last 2 weeks.
Well, I'll tell you what, over the years, you've moved a lot of people around. You've done such a great job in the basketball program, now in the football program. Talk about this year's edition of your team.
You know what? It's going to be a little bit different than we were in the past. Very young, inexperienced, but talented. We're always going to possess some athletes. I think this year we just don't have the experience right now. That's why you practice and you try to throw them in the fire early, and then you try to expedite the maturation process.
So when you look at this year's team, a lot of times, you're going to play to your strengths. Is this a team that you're going to want to run the football more than you throw it, or vice versa?
I think right now, as we speak here on July 8th, we plan to run the football. That's the plan. But you know what? One thing I've learned over 35 years of coaching, one of the most important words in my vocabulary is adaptability, being able to adapt.
Sam, since he can't hear you and I can, is there something you want me to ask Coach?
I want to ask Coach how the wardrobe is coming along, how the suits and the ties, and I also want to know if someday down the road he would ever think about getting back on the hardwood again.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. He said you are dressed to the nines every time he would see you. And the big question is, would you come back to the hard court again and leave the football field?
No. The only way I would do that if it's at the collegiate level. But I'm very, very happy being at Warren Harding as the head football coach. And, I'm retired from the government after 31 years. Been retired for 6 years now. So I'm loving what I'm doing right now.
Well, Coach, never underestimate the power of a coach and the impact that you can have on a young person's life. And you helped so many kids out over the years. Thank you so much for what you do. And I mean, is there one story that you'd like to talk about, that one success story?
Wow. You know what? Over 30 some odd years of coaching, I can't honestly, there have been a lot. And I guess I've been truly blessed, to grow up in Warren and coach at the high school that I've attended and coach the two prominent sports. So, and there are so many stories that I can give, and there's none that really sticks out because every kid and every story is special in its unique way. So, I mean, you can go from Mario Manningham to James Daniels, but those are the guys that you saw on TV. But there are guys who went on to college who didn't play in the NFL or didn't have a shot in NBA, that those stories are just as important to me as anything.
Coach, thank you again so much for your time. Good luck to you the rest of the day over here. And we hope to see you during the regular season.
You guys have always been great. Appreciate you guys.
See you, Coach.
There he goes. My man, Steve Arnold, the head football coach at Warren Harding. Great job, Mark, as he continues to roam the area and pick up some special guests for us here throughout the show. Sam Berkman, TJ Downing, Dana Rohde, Jimmy Ballard, Drew Sarackman, Mark Milano, Lee Foster. The whole crew is here. Rosie is here at the front desk. She's sitting on Daddy's lap, enjoying everything. And I'll tell you what, we still got plenty of room for you. Come on over to the Kempthorne Motors 7-on-7 Classic, powered by Stark Media. We're at the Hall of Fame Village Sports Complex on the campus of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, right across the street, right across the parking lot at Camp McKinley High School. We got the Trench Life Challenge that was going on, 7-on-7 football. We got food trucks here. Stark Media team is here, and just a whole lot of fun on an early Friday here in the month of July. Again, Stark Media, mark it down, check it out, like it, share it, love it on all the social media platforms, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, our YouTube channel, keyword for all, Stark Media. Get it locked in. We got some great stuff to tell you about throughout the program here today, and we got some exciting things to bestow upon you as well.
Trench Life Challenge officially wrapped.
Uh-oh.
Massillon Tigers come over here to the home of the McKinley Bulldogs.
Fixed again. No, I'm kidding. No, they do a great job.
JP Simon over there getting ready to get the trophy from Kent McClellan. We're going to talk to him a little bit. He's kind of the head guy here at the Bulldog Athletic Association, the Bulldog 100. I think that as we get Dana Rohde to start dropping us a little info here, she might be sweating a little bit seeing those Tigers over there because they might be running after Keaton. We were trying to backdoor a deal here with JP Simon as he's a defensive line coach that, okay, we're we're gonna bring Dana on. Maybe call the dogs off. Maybe only rush 2, drop the defensive ends.
No need, boys. I tell you what.
Don't even need it.
No,
wait,
no need.
Wait,
I'm confident in our
house?
Bulldogs. I am confident in our Tigers. It comes at the end of the day. It's not about the red or the orange. I mean, we all bleed red, as we know.
Are you saying bring the house? It doesn't matter.
I'm saying to show the best team win, right? That's how it is at the end of the day here.
There you go.
Now, these both teams and all these teams are representing. I'm very proud of all these players out here today, early on in the season and doing some fantastic things already.
Trench Life Warrior Chase Bond over there rocking the knee scooter, man. I think Coach Simon's going to want to see that thing get healed up a little bit. He's even got that thing wrapped. He must have a little plaster underneath there. Dana, when you were out there kind of roaming the fields and what you were able to see, who were some teams that really stuck out to you? I mean, we saw a ton of huge plays from Cincinnati Taft down here on this end. I know Benedictine looked hot. The McKinley Bulldogs looked good. What did you see? What was your takeaways?
I mean, I'm telling you what, the Akron East Dragons, I mean, they had, 21 points there on the second round and, multiple players, scoring. It wasn't just like the same guy over and over. They actually, Tristan and Abraham and Trayvon and, they had equally balanced receivers out there that could do fantastic things out there. The same thing with McKinley. I was noticing that, you had Sincere McDaniels, DJ Lewis, just to name a few, Trayshawn Foster, Alex Vasquez. I mean, these guys are all over the board. There's not that one or two players to look for to cover. I mean, these guys are all over the board, and they all equally can make great plays. So looking great.
The one thing constant about the East team, though, is their trigger man, and that's Justin Cox. Justin's coming into his senior year. He's got about 6 offers, TJ, a BQA guy, athletic, spins it pretty well, got a lot of experience. And, like you said, Dana, you put not 1, but 2, but 3 guys out there with an experienced quarterback. Now you got a slot that could, get down the middle of those 2 seams, and then you got the guys on the outside creating those one-on-one matchups. Justin Cox is going to be a guy that we're going to be talking about, TJ, especially when East comes down to Stark County, which we've talked about that they're going to open up again with Jack. They're going to play Jackson, and they're going to come, I believe, playing J-Roar at home.
Head coaching football game against the Dragons, man. That's going to be a banger. I mean, everybody's got Maslin circled, playing Moeller. McKinley opens with Menor.
Right.
Yep.
But that Jackson-Akron East game, man, that's intriguing to me.
What week is that game, guys?
Week 1.
Week one.
Nice.
That would be
the kickoff.
August the 17th.
Got some holes at Jackson to fill, too.
Does that sound right?
And that's at Jackson?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Over at the Fife. 7 o'clock.
The 18th, Thursday night, you're going to have Sandy Valley taking on Fairless. You'll have your Crusaders taking on
against
the
Perry.
Panthers. And then the 19th, man, strap it up. Let's roll. That's
Ooh,
week 1.
that is triple header.
And that's just around the corner here.
It is. We were just saying, I know we say it every year. It's hard to believe. We can't believe it. But the fact that, kids are in school now, it's like they never left. What are we playing? 2 and 3 games now? Before September, before Labor Day?
Yeah,
it's insane.
School used to start the end of August. Now it's the second week in August for most schools. So yeah we've got, them couple games in before the end of the August month. Yeah.
I used to go back to school. It was like September the 6th. That was my first day, and we went till about June 3rd. And we had 3+ months of summer, which I thought was fantastic. I think kids get robbed of their summer now anymore because it's so short. But another discussion for another day. Again, we are broadcasting live here. Stark Media. Check us out: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Keyword Stark Media. We got some great things happening. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be with you for the next couple of hours. Myself and TJ and Jimmy Ballard, Drew Sarakman, Dana Rodi, Mark Milano, the whole crew here today. And we are absolutely having a terrific time. There's still plenty of time for you to come on out and join us here at the Hall of Fame Village Sports Complex. Great football still to be played. Only $10 to get in. You got plenty of time. Gates are open,
wide open,
ready to roll. Come on in. We got food trucks. You can have a little dinner here and some lemonade. We got all kind of great things for you here. And we are ready to go with the next round.
Game 3 kicking off.
There it is.
Big Sam, how about you, buddy?
Big Antonio with the big bullhorn getting getting us ready to roll here.
You know what? I think this is the first game of the tournament.
This is the first tournament game. Yes,
Yeah.
that was round 4 we just finished up with. And this
So
is
there's tournament. How many games till you get to the championship game? I guess.
Well, it should be 12. So 3 games. 3 games.
So 3 and then
4 games. 3 and then the championship.
3 and then the champion. Okay.
And I'll tell you what, just from walking around watching, I think McKinley, I think Taft, and I think Perry are 3 teams that have a really good chance to be there at the end today. They're all playing really well. You know, Keaton really slung it well the last game versus East there. If you go on Twitter and check it out, I have the touchdown pass. It was an absolute dime.
I just watched it and shared it. So make sure you guys are checking that out. Great video and great photos today. Again, Stark Media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Facebook as we've been here since around 3 or so. And we'll be with you until it's all over. The Trench Life Challenge. Congratulations to the Massillon Tigers. I got to tell you what. It's July. I'm telling you right now. I saw 2 coaches step in over here because there was woofing between the McKinley and Massillon linemen, and they had to step in and separate them and move them back, and that's the way we like it.
Yeah, let's just kind of talk about how rare this is, what we've been able to pull off here today. You know, everybody waits until week 10 to see the greatest rivalry in high school sports. You know, and to have these guys out here showing what they're all about. Again, we mentioned no contact. You know, these guys aren't out here. There was almost some contact right there, but that was after the challenge was over.
Right.
You know, but to have these guys out here showing what they're all about, giving a little preview of what this season. And that man right there, Coach, you're going to need somebody to block that guy right there behind you, Coach Hall. Are we got to double team him this year, man? Marcus Moore, man, he's going to be highly recruited. I believe he's committed to Akron.
Yep.
A great player, man, to, you know, a defensive line. Really kind of stepped up as an offensive guard last year, presented problems, and really stepped to the forefront as a leader. But to me, though, also, you got the Golden Eagles in the house. Got to mention my Golden Eagles, man.
They're all right there. Vontae Burt and the crew.
Yeah. Hey, nice new addition for Coach Antonio Hall, bringing back the legend Chad Anderson. You know, they both played their ball at Kentucky. Unfortunately, I just had to remind somebody about this yesterday, that the first time in 10 years that Glen Oak had beat McKinley was back in 2001. We're at Fawcett Stadium. We go to the end of fourth quarter, the end of regulation, and it's 0-0. I'm sure you probably called that game.
I did.
We go in there to end of regulation. Dustin Fox block him into the end zone, get the touchdown. Chad Anderson takes the handoff at the 5-yard line. And old boy 7 Deuce came in there and rattled his cage, boy, and that ball squirted down on the ground. My boy Steve Nichols scooped it up. First time we beat the Bulldogs in 10 years over at GO, man. It was a good moment for us, but that's a great pickup bringing him. He was at Copley, I believe.
Yep.
So to get him back home, that's going to be a big pickup, a nice big touchdown right out there. I believe that was the Bulldogs there. I don't think that was Keith Rose.
The young guys, Bulldogs, the young pups.
Nice deep ball over there. But, you know, to me, as we talk about the Glen Oak Golden Eagles, the Massillon Tigers, they're squaring off week 2. John McAllister kind of hit it back. Sam, you remember, they were doing that game on a Thursday night, and that was like must-see football. Briante Dunn was running the rock, hitting like 330 yards one game.
How about Kyle Kemp pulling the trigger? He ended up starting at Iowa State and coaching quarterbacks there now. And, you know, Garyon Conley was another guy that, you know, we watched those 2 teams play when it was a great ball game for a while.
So they're over there doing the tire pool where you get 2 guys on there and you're kind of going back and forth. And, you know, to think that, hey, I'm going to be seeing you here in about 4 or 5 weeks. You know, that's kind of a nice little preamble
that
to
gets
to
things going. That gets things going.
It's a rare thing we've been able to put together here, and a lot of that has to do with our friends at the Bulldog Athletic Association. You know, everything that Eric Kempthorne has done and the Kempthorne Motors team getting behind this. This has really turned into a great afternoon into the evening now. Something for everybody. You know, it's not just a 7-on-7. We get the big boys involved. As you mentioned, Sam, the food. John Fakalis has brought out his fries, the sausages. I think I even saw
some gyros over there.
Some gyros, some of the best, man.
Yeah, the French fries.
Got that fair style lemonade here.
It's just blowing
it's all
downstream,
here,
man.
And I haven't had a thing yet, but I'm going to hit that up here real soon.
You're
I'm going back for seconds, man.
I'm going back for seconds. I'm going back.
I've had my sausage and the lemonade, man, and they killed it over there.
I'm on a diet, so hopefully
I'm
my wife stopped listening so I can.
I'm not.
So I can cheat.
They got like a head of lettuce over there for you to nibble on, like
grab it. If they throw the gyro in a smoothie, I think I'm all right. Because I'm
pour a little
supposed to be eating
flaxseed oil in there.
smoothies.
You're good to go.
It's no fat sausage, man. It's okay.
Hey, we mentioned Kempthorne Motors. We want to shout out Kempthorne Motors and their great support of this event. Also want to thank you to our good friends at Canton Insurance Agency, Nationwide Mortgage, our good friend Nate over at Nathan's Patio on 30th Street, Decalash, Spirit of Stark, Simon Says Productions, the Bulldog 100, and, of course, Stark Media. But you can't do things without the support of the local businesses. And, again, want to shout out all of them. We're going to continue to shout them out throughout the evening. And, TJ, if you want to pop in and spread some good words about our friends at Nathan's Patio and Nationwide and Mortgage, Canton Insurance Agency. I mean,
Nathan's Patio. What I remember after I walked out the doors.
Let me rephrase that question. What can you tell us before 2:30 in the morning over at Nathan's Patio? Nate does a great job over there on 30th Street, and lunch and dinner. Obviously, you can go in there and have have some drinks after work, or go in late night. He's always got wing specials going on, and I think they still do a noodle night over there, which was just fantastic.
The fish bowls,
live music.
Bowls.
Yeah, live music going
live
over there.
Live music. Great place to watch games too. Great place to watch games. I watched an Ohio State Michigan game there once. We had a big old party there in the afternoon. So shout out to Nate and our good friends at Nathan's Patio. Stop in there noon, midnight, 6 p.m., whenever you get a chance on 30th Street in Canton. Also, thanks to the Canton Insurance Agency, Nationwide Mortgage, Decalash, good friends at Kempthorne Motors, and, of course, you can't do it without help. We've had a lot of – and I'll tell you what, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I can't wait for this event next year, how much bigger it's going to be. And we'll fine-tune some things. This was our first shot, our first venture out here, putting something on this and getting some help. I can't wait, because today has been phenomenal. And when you can do this well on your first time, just imagine how it's going to grow down the road.
Yeah, and I look a lot to the Sophie Bowl, which we'll be having tomorrow that we talked about. It's our 7th one coming up. The first one, you kind of see what works, see what doesn't. Taft, as they just got scored on over there. Man, I'll tell you what, there's going to be some teams to keep your eye on as we get through this tournament portion here, as it comes down to the final teams, the nitty-gritty. It's great to see the competition this early. We talked about that, Drew, with you. Put your coaching hat on. Hey, we're getting live competition out there, and that's really putting these guys in a position. Coach kind of knows now, hey, when you're down by 2-3 scores, this is how you're going to react. When you just get dunked on by maybe one of the best receivers in the state of Ohio, how do you come back and respond from that?
Yeah, you want to see guys that are willing to step up and meet the competition, meet the challenge. Right in front of us, we got Warren Harding, like you said, threw a touchdown. Listen to this great name for their quarterback. Their quarterback's name is Dallas Jet.
Yes, yeah, I saw it on the sheet. Yes.
And he threw a great throw there into the end zone. But, yeah, I mean, you want to see your guys meet the challenge. You want to know, hey, when the going gets tough, can I count on this kid? A lot of times we're throwing 16-year-old kids out there, and they got to be able to make plays.
Woo!
Dallas Jet with another throw into the end zone for the extra point.
Dallas Jet getting recruited quite a bit too, Coach Sirackman. I believe he's got about 6 or 7 offers. A couple of them are for quarterback, but he's probably going to translate to the next level as a wide receiver or defensive back. You can see he spins the ball well, a little bit long in his release, but you can see the athleticism and his ability to move. And we had a chance to see him last year, man. He's twitchy, athletic, and can really extend plays.
I'm drawing a blank here, but a la the fellow that went down there to Kentucky from Warren Harding, and he did the transition.
Lynn Bowden. That was a different cat right there.
Listen, the best high school football player I have ever seen play live.
Mike Doss.
Wait, Maurice Claret?
Mike Doss was really good,
I didn't see those guys play. I was
both ways. At the level he played, the beating he took both ways was something you will not see in high school football anymore. But Lynn Bowden was electric.
We've all been fortunate enough to see a lot of great football in our time. For me, I mean, what Maurice Claret did, him and I came into the same recruiting class together, but I mean, I think he churned out like 400 yards against Iggy one time. Who does that? Nobody does that. But Killer Mike Doss, to me, when you talk about it, the people that you've been around, Sam, whatever sport you played, whatever the guys that you just have the utmost respect for, that command your attention every time they talk. Jim, he's going to be in the College Football Hall of Fame with you. I remember as a youngster watching Cincinnati St. Xavier and the McKinley Bulldogs over there in Paul Brown Tiger Stadium for the championship. Yep. They were throwing rolls of toilet paper as streamers, and I think that was when Andre Hooksy, my boy Hooksy, was reeling them in,
Buckeye.
Boy. But Killer Mike Doss, you put him on the field and he could just take over the game. He was our guy. If I always tell people, if it wasn't for Maurice Clarett, we would not have won that national title at Ohio State in 2002. But without a doubt, if Mike Doss does not come back, because he could have left early to go to the NFL, we're not even in the hunt for it. That guy, when he stepped on the field, you better be aware, what's he doing?
Where's he at?
Where's he going?
And the X factor for me, being an offensive lineman, I've never seen a safety that could come down into the box and take on 300-pound offensive linemen like he did. We had this old model. The one guy at kind of the same time there in the Big Ten, Jim Leonard from Wisconsin. He was a pretty bad dude himself, but he wasn't number two, right? But we used to have this saying, we call those guys pencil necks. If a defensive back is going to come down into the box, we don't get to see him much throughout a game, but the moment you do, better peel that dude's head back, right? You didn't do that to a guy like Mike Doss. Nope. Even as big as we were compared to him, when Mike Doss came down into the box, I never saw an offensive lineman take him backwards and put him on his back, and that's saying something for a safety.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, when Michael played over here at McKinley, and we watched him do a lot of great things defensively for the Bulldogs and for Ohio State and for the Colts, Michael Doss was one of the greatest running backs I had ever seen. He put on a clinic against Toledo St. Francis up at Parma, one of the years they won the state championship. Ice, frozen turf. The wind chill had to have been 30 below. It was just brutal. And he ran and ran and ran, and he and DeMarlo had Rozier had great games that night. Mike Doss was a fantastic running back. He turned it over to the other side of the ball, but I'm telling you what, in high school, that kid could run.
Mix in Jamar Martin, lead blocker.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way.
Are
you kidding me? All on the same team?
Antonio Hall was on that line. He wasn't bad, right?
Right?
Yeah, he's all right.
Right?
He's all right.
6'7",
little young buck out there running around next to Garrett Bush.
How many dudes were on that team, man?
I mean, come
Too
on
many.
now. Kenny Pete.
Kenny
all
Peterson.
those guys.
Three guys in the league, man.
But you mentioned it, man.
That's
to have that
insane.
1-2 punch, even when Mike Doss isn't getting it, now you're handing it off to DeMarlo Rozier.
Yeah.
He wasn't too bad himself, man.
Yeah. I mean, and you had so much talent. And the thing that I loved about that, and unfortunately we don't see it nowadays anymore for a myriad of reasons. Those kids all started playing ball together when they were like 3rd and 4th grade. They all stayed together. Nobody transferred. Nobody whined. Nobody pouted. Nobody had problems with each other. And they came up through the system, Canton City. And when they landed over here, it was a beautiful thing to watch. I don't care where you went to school, who you're rooting for. I mean, I being a Central Catholic guy, Mark St. Thomas, Drew St. Tom, TJ Glenoak, Jimmy was up with the Cuyahoga Falls.
Yep.
You truly marveled at what that team and program under Coach McDaniels and Coach Odakovic was able to do. Guys, Division I, public school, state champions back-to-back, knocking off X, knocking off a Moeller. Who does that?
And it's not like the teams they were playing back then were down. Massillon was good.
Yes.
Iggy was good.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't
Moeller
playing bums.
was good.
Moeller,
And there was only 4 teams that got in, too. That was the thing.
You
There was
had to
only 4
earn
teams that
it
got
wasn't
into
given
the
to you
playoffs.
like it is now. Mark, you can empathize with me. I believe both of our schools were on the McKinley schedule that year.
Yes.
Over here, one game was 70-something to nothing. The other was 51. And we took our beating, but you know what? It was still kind of fun to watch. It hurt me to watch it, but it was still fun.
To your point, when you have those kids that come up together like that, it really does matter. And I think back to when you and I were in high school,
honestly, I didn't particularly care for some of these guys that I was playing with because we hated them. They were coming from rival parochial schools, and now they're bringing us all together. It took a while for us to really kind of get things together. Completely different story when you were talking about Canton McKinley and growing up in the southeast end of Canton. Man, I'll tell you what, and these guys will do it. They'll talk about the McKinley-Massillon game and everything. They'll go, well, Massillon-McKinley. I go, oh, no. It's McKinley-Massillon. Let's get this straight right now.
Just depends on whose home turf you're playing.
No, it's still McKinley-Massillon.
I don't want to run around.
JP's going to come around the truck over here
with a hammer. He's got a hammer looking for Mark.
I still
Hammer.
I may be able to outrun him, though. I don't know.
He's kind of slimmed down a little bit.
I'll tell you what, guys, the one great thing that Antonio Hall is doing right now in Canton is, to your point, Sammy, is he's really trying to overhaul youth football in Canton and get those guys on the same page. Like you said, it's so important because that's the pipeline to your program. You know, hey, I'm a Catholic school guy. I know the game. I mean, we go find them and we take them. You know, he's doing a great job of trying to, keep his kids in Canton. There is plenty of talent in the city of Canton. And I think he's doing a great job with the youth program, Bulldog 100, the facilities they got over here now. Why would you leave?
Second to none.
Why would you leave?
I'll tell you what, he needs to, because what's going on at Massillon, Brett Marshall's done an outstanding job with that OTA program. I mean, there was a spring tackle league that my son participated in. And I mean, there was, a 7U, 8U, 9U, 10U. And, you talk about other opportunities. Some kids, are always looking around for opportunities to play. And I mean, Massillon's done a great job with that. So, and as a coach, if you don't go see those kids when they're in an elementary school or in middle school, why are those kids going to want to come play for you in high school? They don't even know your name. You better be a fixture in making sure that the guys in place coaching your kids, number one, know what they're doing. But what I'd like to see is, in the best programs that have always done this, they started implementing the base defense, 4-3, cover 3, when they're in 4th and 5th grade. Then they kind of give them a little bit more, and then they add the stunts. So by the time they get to high school, they've been running the same system for years and years and years.
That's great. I mean, you look at programs that were built that way that are perennials now. Menor is one of them that does it the same way. For a long time, Kenton up there, when they had the Mock boys, they're that way. Louisville for a long time.
With DeMarco.
Hopefully, I know the numbers in the district have gone down, but a little bit. Hopefully they bounce back. But the solid youth program is such an important thing. Being a Catholic school guy, I used to get a coach there for a long time. I used to get a lot of flack from coaches. You're taking my kid. You're taking my. That's more of an indictment on the coach that loses the kid than the coach that takes the kid. If he's a middle school kid, like you said, and he's never seen you,
why would I play for that guy?
Exactly.
How easy would it be to sell this, though?
Oh,
you've got the greatest. I don't mean you have the best facilities in the state of Ohio, maybe in the country.
Absolutely.
When you look at the natatorium, the field house, Tom Benson Stadium, it doesn't get any better.
The
than
new
locker room.
These,
all of it.
Yeah.
Those kids are playing in,
the dome that we have
a professional stadium.
Yep.
In an NFL locker room.
For sure.
It's pretty cool.
I see some trench life warriors.
These guys look like they're hungry.
Chowing, baby. The Dragons are chowing down.
Dragons down there just gearing up for that tug of war coming up.
No, they're getting ready for the Jackson Polar Bears, right? That's what's up. I see him. He get that nod. Like, yeah, I know what time it is, right?
Jackson's got some question marks this year, don't they?
You lose a lot of guys off that team.
A lot of guys. Quarterback, you lose running back.
Brendan,
Brendan Craig, one of the best running backs in Stark County.
We called the game where I was told it was a record. It really wasn't a record, but man, did he pop off against Perry that night or what?
He was filthy.
I mean, every time he crossed the line of scrimmage, he was shot out of a can. It was like nobody's going to stop him.
He was electrifying.
So fast.
Mark, a lot of people always kind of talk, ever since the birth of the playoffs, to win a state championship, it's been the McKinley Bulldogs, Central Catholic, St. Thomas, right? Those are only 3 schools around here that have won a playoff state title, right?
Right, and how hard it is to do that and how hard it is to be good consistently because, you get kids graduating. But I can tell you this. I think the coaches that we have in this area are the best that there are.
Yep, absolutely.
The emphasis that they put on things, this isn't just a 4-month job for these guys. This is 12 months a year. They grind. I mean, they bleed. They feel worse, I think, after a loss than some of the players do.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the kind of guys that I would want to play for, and those are the kind of guys that I would want my kids to play for. And there's so many good coaches that we've had over here. Jack Rose, my all-time favorite.
He's always going to go to Mr. Rose.
Hey, I tell you right now, looking back, if I could have asked Jack to be my best man, I would have done it.
Hey, man, talking about kids and doing a great job coaching. A little shout out to your son, Matt, Coach of the Year, first year at Wadsworth Lacrosse.
League Lacrosse
Champs.
Coach of the Year,
Coach of the Year, first year, baby.
Yeah. And guess who got recruited to help work his camp next week? Right. You know what my pay is? He doubled it from last year.
Double zero?
Double zero.
He going parish on you now with the double zero?
And you know, you also got recruited to come play wide receiver for me tomorrow, man. So we're doing a lot of recruiting out here tonight.
Does that mean you're going to throw me some passes?
Yeah, of course I am, man.
I'm in.
You know, no segue over here to the Massillon Tigers talking about recruiting and winning playoff titles, man. But we got our boy JP Simon on the microphone. Hey, Trench Life.
Hey,
how was it over there?
It was a great day. We competed. Had 10 schools show up. We got after it a little bit in the weight room here. I got in here. You guys are talking about the facilities over here. It's the first time I've seen the weight room. Did a great job with it. You know, we did the bench press challenge. We did a pool in there. And we came out here and got after it on these fields, and a lot of fight out of these guys, and ended it with a tug of war. It was a good day.
JP, who benched 185 the most times?
I think the best I saw was a kid from East, got 36 reps.
Wow, I think it was that kid eating 4 gyros that walked by us.
He deserves them.
Wow.
There's a couple good numbers in there. I've seen a couple 30s, but I want to say 36 was the highest I counted.
That's impressive.
So, yeah, good day.
You know, we were kind of talking about how rare of an event this is that we've been lucky enough to be a part of here on the grounds of the Hall of Fame Village, powered by Johnson Controls, the Kempthorne Kickoff Classic. You know, for the Trench Life stuff, to have the McKinley Bulldogs, to have the Massillon Tigers, the greatest rivalry in high school sports in the country, you know, to have those two teams battling it out in the Trench Life Challenge. We've made it known that, listen, this is a non-contact deal. You know, we don't want any guys getting hurt. It's a test of strength, endurance. But to have the Bulldogs and the Tigers on the same field before training camp, this has never been done before.
Right, and it was getting there was a little bit of competitive spirit out there, to put it nicely, you know, and the way that the seedings all broke down, Massillon McKinley actually squared off in the first round of the tug, so we didn't waste no time getting into it.
I know we got video
footage. Yeah, we got some video over there of it, but yeah, it was. We got right into it with the Tigers and the Bulldogs.
Did you notice he said the Massillon McKinley?
Yeah, oh, yeah. That's the way it goes.
Hey, listen,
he should say that.
I know. My as I was saying, my son played OTA over in Massillon this spring, and the last quarterback to beat Massillon was working out a defensive end, and that was Dominic Robinson, who he ended up getting drafted. But he was out at Massillon working out with I can't remember the name of the guy that was training him, but Dominic was there, and that was the last time in the corner of that end zone when he dove over. The last time the Bulldogs were able to defeat the Massillon Tigers. That was what, 5, 6 years ago?
7 years.
2016. 2016.
We got the last 15.
15?
Yeah,
because that's week 1. We played him, and he kicked the punt off of his guy's butt, and we ran into the end zone.
That always helps.
That was back when they still had not built out the other side, or that was still Fawcett, right? They had torn down the stands over there, and you could see the hall. I mean, boy went full vertical, man.
Yeah, he did. He was parallel to the line of scrimmage, man. What a great play! I saw a great picture of it. You know, it kind of reminded me. I don't know if you probably haven't seen it, but there's an unbelievable picture of Pierre Garçon in the national championship when he was at Mount Union, where it was the same thing, completely parallel to the line of scrimmage, full extension. I mean, to sell out, to win it like that in the corner of the end zone in that game, in that moment, man, that was big time.
JP, you'll appreciate this. My college roommate was from Chagrin Falls, and he was telling me about their rivalry. They play against West G, and so I went up to watch one of the games, and I walk in the stadium, and I go, okay, this is nice.
Sure.
I go, I'm going to take you to a game back home, and I'm going to only ask you to do one thing. Don't wear orange and black, and don't wear red and black.
Go neutral.
Switzerland. So we're coming down from Kent. We're coming by the stadium. He goes, what college plays over there?
Right.
I go, no, that's a high school stadium.
Sure.
And it was in full regalia back then. I mean, it was 20,000 plus at that time. That game, is a game all to itself. It's a season all to itself.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that unless you've been in it, you really can't appreciate what it's like to play in
It's
that
hard
game.
to try to put that into words what that day is, and just the whole week. It's not just the day. There's the parades and the
breakfast, the
rallies.
dinners.
Yeah, all week long it's an event.
All the interviews at Nate and
the morning
Coach
tailgate.
Man,
Who won that game, by the way?
McKinley did.
No, we won't. Can we edit that? Can we roll that back?
5 second delay.
Yeah, get the mute button over
Well,
here.
you've had your way with them the past several years.
Sure.
So
Since I've been back, we're 6-0, and then I was 6-0 or 5-0 as a player. We got them twice my junior year. We got them in the playoffs. Wow. So that's always my claim to fame is I'm 11-0 versus the Pups.
So now you're going to get a chance to see him twice again in the season come next year. You have to move up to Division One.
We stayed D2. Massillon stayed D2.
Next year, though.
Oh, that's news to me. That's Stark Media breaking news, if that's the case.
That's my understanding that this year they didn't make the move. That next year that they will.
Yeah, that's so. From what I understand is, Division One smaller right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not this coming season, the season after. They're going back to 6 divisions.
Okay.
Which will make Division One bigger, and I think Massillon was probably towards the top with their competitive balance number, and it seems to be you're going to be smack dab in the middle of D1.
Okay,
so.
well, shoot, let's do it. Now
Yeah.
you see how much I pay attention. I'm focused on
See,
today.
hey,
that's
the way it should be, right?
Right, absolutely.
Just tell me who we're playing and when we're playing them.
What's the schedule?
Hey,
who we got this
week?
Who we game plan?
Hey, is there NIL money for broadcasters?
Hey, we can get Cardale Jones on the horn.
See, I'm pushing for Sam to get one of those new cars from Kempthorne. He was talking about he needed to get a car, so we can.
I just want the duffel bag of money that John McAllister was talking about putting in the trunk, man. Just drop me off the duffel bag, man. Call me duffel bag boy, man. No, hey, so the difference between playing them in week 10 compared to playing in the playoffs. Different feel, different vibe.
I mean, man, it's still McKinley. It's
Yeah.
still Massillon McKinley. And like I said, my junior year, we got them in the playoff. It was in my senior year. They're starting to run together, one of those two. I didn't have a problem beating them twice. I enjoyed the second one just as much as I did the first one, to be honest with you. But
that's just a big cherry on
Yeah,
top,
man,
isn't it? You already whooped that ass one time, then we get to play him again?
Send him home.
Let's do it. No, bring them back next week. Let's do it a third time.
The second time, probably, obviously I haven't been in the game, but the second time, both teams got to feel better going in, right?
Yeah.
The butterflies are out. You've played against this guy, sometimes it was last week.
Sure.
What was it? 05 or something? They were both 9-0 and then played the very next week 11, week 10 and 11.
I think we split it that year too. That was the year that they beat us at home, and then Massillon got McKinley in the playoffs that year. And
would you normally say the team that lost that game had a better chance of winning the second one because of the bad taste they had in their mouth in that loss?
That's hard for me because I have a bad taste in my mouth every time we line up against the guys in red. So I still had the funny taste in both games, but we actually beat them more soundly the second game than we did the first game. Maybe it was just an oddity there, but
kind of go back and forth on a little bit. It's like, all right, we beat up on them last week, but man, they're going to make adjustments, and it is hard to beat a team, especially back-to-back weeks.
It is tough.
Let alone twice in a season, but to beat them back-to-back weeks, that's awful. I would have to think that'd be a lot tougher.
How about the 100th meeting between the two teams? Could that game have been any better? Overtime game.
Wild. I was a young pup at that one. I was little in the stands, but I got some memories of it.
You had my legendary coach over there, Jack Rose.
Jack Rose,
was a coach at that
he's
time.
a Tiger.
And there's still discussions that was a forward lateral.
Well, I'm gonna you know what side I'm voting on that one. Is that Willie Spencer? If my memory's right.
Yeah, and I believe Bart Starr was at that game.
Okay, yeah.
And ESPN covered it.
Sports Illustrated, right? Wasn't that the game that they made
that was
Sports Illustrated?
Yeah.
Got a little update out there on the field here in the tournament brackets. Flint out of Virginia is going to be taking on Warren Harding, and Malvern is going to be taking on Maple Heights. Mark, Jim, we got a chance calling games last year. We'll be calling them again this year. One of the biggest disappointments, I think, for myself last year, and maybe you guys too, I really wanted to see that Lake Blue Streaks game against Maple Heights, and that got scratched because of COVID.
Right.
And I've heard a lot about the program at Maple Heights and what they've been able to do there, and there's some talent there. I was really excited to see Coach Dan DeGeorge and his squad line up. My man, Officer Lamar Sharp, man, Be a Better Me Foundation in the house. Now, you talked about Jack Rose. He'll tell you one of his biggest letdowns in high school sports was that in the 100th game of the rivalry, he was able to beat McKinley.
Right.
Mhm.
But then they faced off 2 weeks later in
Yep.
the playoffs, and he lost.
Over the Rubber Bowl. Remember it well. Yep.
Yep.
Here's a guy that had a 750 winning percentage, and that wasn't good enough.
Right. And he'll tell you to this day, too, speaking of opening up against Moeller, I believe to this day, Jack Rose, as a public school head coach, still has the highest winning percentage in the state of Ohio against Cincinnati Moeller.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
He always has little nuggets that he'd fire out, other than, get your ass moving and this and that. He was full of them, right? What did he tell you? He goes, you're gonna run until I get tired.
Well, he told me that, and then he also told me that door didn't have to be open for me to hit the lockers on the other side. Because I made the fatal mistake of sitting at his desk and doing my imitation of him, which, by the way, was pretty damn good. And he came up behind me, and he put this Vulcan nerve pinch on my trap, and I thought that I was just paralyzed over there, and that's when he laid that on me. But you know what? I think that, and JP, there's days when you're that guy and you're getting on somebody pretty good.
Absolutely. Most days.
That's what we needed. That's what I needed. And now when I look back on it, I was so thankful for the opportunity to be able to play for somebody like that.
Sure.
And when I raised my kids, I kind of leaned on them, and I did the same thing too.
And they never appreciate it. They always think you're picking on them when they're young. It's
right.
It's when they're looking back, reflecting on it, is when they appreciate that guy.
When they get it.
Yep.
You talk about another nugget. You're talking about Lamar Sharp. Lamar back in the day was a pretty good football player himself.
Kansas Jayhawks?
Yes. He also was a Canton legend with Nick Sirianni.
Oh, the indoor.
And Dan Larlam. He also played on that team, as did fellow
Larlam
police.
played on that team, huh?
Larlam and Rob Adamson. And the other, we had
some real legends out there, man.
and this name will ring a bell, not so much for a good reason, but one of the other police officers that was on the team was Bobby Cutts.
Oh my gosh.
Who's now starring in The Longest Yard 3.
Yeah. Played a lot of softball against Bobby Cutts back in the day. Played for Mr. C's.
California Penal League. But Bobby was part of that team too, but Nick Sirianni. But no, man, we had a lot of fun. Lamar did a great job. And as you said, TJ. Quite possibly. So, one of our sponsors for the QB and the OG 1372 show,
Cigar
Doug
Lodge,
Green,
man.
Cigar Lodge.
I thought he said the Star Lounge. I thought maybe there was a place I didn't know about.
Those days are over for me, man.
Well, tap us in.
Yeah,
I don't make it rain anywhere
I was
anymore,
coming around
man.
the corner as they're getting ready for the Zach Brown band to play up there at Dowd Field. Coming around the corner, you got to bob and weave now because of all the construction that's going on up there. And I'm backdooring down Inman, and I see this Sherry's place up there. I'm like, oh man, this is a place you don't want to find yourself after midnight.
Did you hit Popeyes up there in Arlington?
You got to, man.
Oh, Popeyes, man.
When I was coaching at Hogan, I gained so much weight because on my way
That's why
home,
you're on the
Popeyes
diet.
was on Arlington. I was
Hitting
like,
it up.
that's why I don't coach Hogan anymore. I can't eat Popeyes. Heart can't take it anymore.
I told him it's either me or the Popeyes. One of us got to go.
They're like the old Chris Farley skit on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Coughing up a chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
There's a rack of ribs coming out.
We used to have a bad practice, and Terrell would call me on my way home, and he'd be like, don't stop at Popeyes. I know when you're mad, you stop at Popeyes. I say, yeah, that's what I do.
I need my comfort food.
Emotional.
So
Give me that 3-piece extra
Jack
spicy.
Rose and Coach Timmy T, I was very, very disappointed in the other day. So I'm up there. We're setting up for the Zach Brown Band concert, and they got the guys running sprints down on the bottom field because they got the whole entire field plasticed off for to protect it. And you remember when you run sprints, and I know you do this with your guys, you bark out some crazy cadence, maybe make them go from 1 to 100 backwards, say the alphabet backwards, trying to get them to jump, make a mistake, and now you're going to back them up or give them 5 more sprints.
Yep.
One of these kids jumped off sides, and he just gave him a free pass to get right back up in the line of scrimmage. Didn't give him any extra work. I'm like, come on, man.
He must have been one of them fundraiser kids.
That
That kid just sold 30 discount cards. I'll give you another chance.
The first day.
Yeah. You always get a little bit more rope. The big fun, the big money bringer.
Or their mom's the one that does like the pregame meal. Like, well, okay.
Can't mess that up.
Man, I sat there. I said, oh, man. I said, Jack Rose would have taken us off the field, taken us over to the hill down by the fire station, made us run our sprints vertical. But he gave him a free pass, man. He got him back up there. Antonio Hall's out there barking out the orders, man. They're getting ready to fire the tournament back up. We mentioned Flint, Virginia, getting ready to take on Warren Harding. Malvern's going to take on Maple Heights. Some more games going on. And want to give a special shout out to all of our friends at Canton Insurance Agency, Nationwide Mortgage, Nathan's Patio, Decca Lash, Spirit of Stark, Simon Says Promotions, my guy sitting right here next to me, Stark Media, the Bulldog 100, and obviously Kempthorne Motors for what they've done, bringing out the stage, getting behind this thing, the Kempthorne Motors Kickoff Classic, powered by us here at Stark Media. And what a great day we've had, man. This has been exciting. We're kind of getting down to that nitty-gritty now, finding out who's going to be getting a little bit closer here to winning this trophy. Your Tigers. About 2 weeks ago, they walked away with a hammer at Pitt. Now you guys just got another piece from Engraver's Edge. You guys are just stacking up hardware.
I shot a message back to Maslin telling him to get to work on expanding that trophy case. We're getting ready to fill her up.
Well, hey, I've had some people tell us how good we sound so far, but we look really good too. And that has a lot to do with the man that's sitting right here at JP. Thank you so much for the attire.
Absolutely. You make us look good.
I don't know about that.
Man, I got to shout him out with gear is off the chart. You guys did a great job for our NFL Alumni Association. Frank Stams is our president. We JP put together some bowling shirts that we were able to wear, which was really cool.
Hanford and Bernie and all the guys posing up, man.
Mike
that was pretty cool.
Greg Pruitt,
my boy Willie, right? Willie,
Willie, yeah, absolutely.
What do you guys got going on with the NFL Alumni Association coming up? I know you guys are going to be at Shaker Country Club with your outing.
Shaker Country Club, August 22nd. All the money that's being raised is going towards the Special Olympics. Last year was one of the best outings we had, raised over $90,000. The bowling this past year was a 6-week thing where we ended up bowling with Talmadge and CVCA and Cuyahoga Falls. Was a huge success. I think what we're going to do next year is we're going to expand it from 6 weeks to the whole year and go every other week. So it's exciting. Frank Stams is doing a good job. My wife Gretchen has done a great job as the communications director, procuring golfers, trying to expand the association itself. There's a lot of guys in the area that might not know what we're doing, and the associations that we're partnering with. It's been a lot of fun. Bobby Jones is a guy that TJ just missed playing against. Bobby lives in Wadsworth now. His kids are in the Wadsworth district, but Bobby played at Penn State and played with the Giants. So Reggie Corner's going to come out. So a lot of guys that just haven't been involved. We're trying to expand it and just raise a lot of money for good causes. So if you get a chance, take a look at it. It is on Facebook. Brochure, August 22nd at Shaker Country Club.
All right, so a little tournament update out there for you. So the McKinley Bulldogs, they've advanced. They're going to have a bye. They're going to play the winner of Flint, Virginia, and Warren Harding. That'll be your semi. And then between the Malvern Hornets and Maple Heights, winner of that's going to get Benny for the other semi. So you know what? We kind of talked here, and that was a big part of forming the Trench Life Challenge was to get a little bit more of a Stark County feel, right? Sure. Not a whole lot of Stark County teams on here other than McKinley. I personally, and Mark knows this has always been my biggest plug on Malvern, not just because I'm a Malvern guy. I spent time down there, but if you say Sandy Valley is Stark County, and you go all the way over to Minerva, and there's Stark County, and Malvern's right in the middle there just because of the way it's cut into Carroll County. To me, Malvern is a Stark County as anybody if those two
Greater
schools are.
Stark County.
Greater Stark County area. Good to see that the Hornets, a Division 6 team, that they're still in this thing competing, man.
Yeah, they did well in the Trench Life Challenge, too. They had some guys down there. And they competed. Yeah. They made the second or third round of the tug. And
Matt Churko talked about that. Last year we had a chance to call them in their playoff game against Lucas. They had a pair of 285-pound guys. And when you're in a Division 6, Division 7 level and you got that, that's a competitive edge for you right there because a lot of those teams down there don't have that. He was telling us that big-time breakup there for Warren Harding going against Flint, man, in the back of the end zone by number 3. That was one of those 50-50 balls going up and get it. Who wants it better, right, Jim?
Yeah, defensive back did a great job of knocking it down, and they're going to turn the ball over on downs back to Warren Harding.
So when you have guys like that out there that can kind of give you that advantage at the small school level, I mean, Coach Matt Churko came up here and talked to us about the guys he has coming back. Kyle Bosert, Babachek, who I think those guys were out there competing. You were pretty impressed with what you saw from the Malvern Hornets?
Absolutely. We did a one-on-one deal to determine seeding in the tug of war, and each team sent their best guy over to the tire fight. And I want to say Malvern took 1 or 2 overall seed in that. So they had a couple studs out there.
This is going to turn into kind of a nice little scene here. We've had a great turnout. A lot of people have traveled up from Virginia. We got people from Cincinnati in the house. We got people from around the area, the greater Stark County area, as we'll call it. But as this thing starts to come down here, these will be your quarterfinals. When we get to the semis and everybody starts to kind of pack around this field right in front of us, it's going to be a pretty nice scene. Big touchdown right there. Warren Harding,
Dallas
man.
Jet dropping it in. Corner out. Nice level 2 throw just over the safety, I believe it was.
Not an easy throw for a high school kid.
Touch over the top. No,
Jim, you
not at all.
mentioned that he's got about half a dozen offers. Do
He
we know
does.
who any of those schools are?
I can't remember. I think Youngstown State was one of them. Again, just being recruited more as an athlete than as a quarterback.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Youngstown State, with Coach Doug Phillips up there, what they've been able to do. We know that Coach Tressel, President Tressel is going to step aside.
Yeah.
I made a little Facebook post about him a couple weeks back saying that there's really nobody out there that deserves a break more than this guy.
Yeah.
He was the first one in, the last one out. Guy drove a 1976 Dodge Ram to practice every day. He's got the Lex in the driveway. His wife's driving a Mercedes. But he said, this was my dad's Dodge Ram from back when he was at Baldwin Wallace. And it kept him humble.
Sure.
When you see these coaches now making big time money, and he's showing up there at 4 a.m. in an old 76 Dodge Ram, and he was the last one to leave, man. We knew one thing. We were never not going to be prepared for our opponent. When you got a coach like that, and to me, that's really the name of the game. I mean, you could probably attest to this, man. You wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, game week, and you're thinking, what did I forget? What haven't we put in? What haven't I taught my guys? Can I call this check or cadence, or can we go on 2? Are we prepared to do that? There's a lot of things that you go through, but when you're prepared, you step out there on the field, and then you can just let it all go.
Yeah. Game day is not today to get tight. Game day is when you let it loose.
Yeah.
Tight Wednesday and Thursday.
That's payday. Game day is payday.
Yes, sir.
You put the work in all week. You get paid on Friday nights or Saturday afternoons.
Or you don't.
The worst thing, the worst thing you could say is when you got on that field is I should have done more. I mean, that's not good.
Right. Or I wish I would have and fill it in anyway. Whether it's another hour in the film room, whether it was another, 15 minutes on the field, throwing extra routes, trying to get down that new play you put in that week. I wish I would have.
Yeah. Is Coach Tress really done, TJ? You don't think he'll do anything?
I think his aim now, which I had the pleasure, Jim and his beautiful wife, Gretchen, they invited me to come play in the Wendy's Celebrity Classic out at Ashland Country Club a few weeks back. And I got to see my old nemesis, Joel Penton from Van Wert, who the Central Catholic Crusaders beat for a state championship back in 2000 with Vince Liotta. No, 2002, I believe it was.
We don't keep track of that, do we, Coach?
No,
I totally forgot. They've won one? They've won 2? I don't know.
Trace Hombres, I think, right?
No, Vinny G's a baller.
Yeah. To me, to this day, people always ask, outside of your own teammates, yourself, who's your favorite players to watch, right? To me, in college, it was Vince Young. No brainer. In high school, it was Vince Liotta. Those 2 quarterbacks, to me, were just fun dudes to watch.
Yep.
Who are some guys for you?
I mean, obviously, I'm going to go with my man, Jay-Z. I got to play with Justin Zwick a little bit, so he was always a good time.
He was all right.
The one that always sticks out to me, and he's a little bit older than me, was Mike Doss. When I go back through my memory bank, Mike Doss and Lynn Bowden a couple years ago at Warren were just two different type of guys that just unbelievable athletes that stick out to me.
Who was it for you?
That I played against?
Played, or even just as a coach, you're sitting in the box, you're an offensive coordinator, maybe it's a defensive guy. What am I going to do with this?
Yeah, so when I was at Hoban, we were playing Benedictine and Jerome Baker, who's he's still in the NFL.
Still playing.
And, we weren't bad. We weren't winning state championships yet, but the year before we did in 2014, he's just laying the wood to our dudes. And Todd Sibley, who thought he was a dude, at the time, he's a sophomore committed to Ohio State. Jerome Baker comes through, backside A-gap, and hits him so hard in the backfield. We're running power. And, our guys didn't even see it. And after that play,
or at halftime, I go to Todd. I said, "You think you're ready to play college football now?" He said, "No, not yet, Coach." But Jerome Baker was a stud. At the smaller school level too, a kid who I'm excited to see finally get some traction at Cincy is the right kid from Manchester. Gosh, he's
a BQA guy, man.
Yeah, when I was the head coach at Triway, he just torched us, and he was good. He was good, but I mean, growing up, I watched Mike Doss, like I said earlier, and I was just in awe. And still to this day, I mean, I've seen Lynn Bowden, those types of guys, but Mike Doss was just on both sides of the ball.
Did a number on the Tigers.
Wasn't Wright originally committed to Duke, or was there another player from Manchester?
Ethan Wright was going to
Duke.
Yeah,
okay. And then I think the coach left or whatever. Then he ended up at Cincinnati. But Ethan's been a guy that has been a part of Ballard Quarterback Academy for 5 or 6 years. He would come watch film. I told you, Drew. He would come watch film as a running back, and it just so happens, I kid you not, the week that we broke down film, they were playing Triway.
Yeah,
and Ethan Wright was lining up in the backfield at about 7 yards, and he was so quick downhill. And I'm like, Ethan, you're getting into the hole too fast.
Yeah.
You should back up to 8. So he did, and I mean, the first week that he did that, they played Triway, and I think he ripped off 325 and 5.
Yeah. So funny story about that game. I'm a first year head coach. I think we're 3-0 or 4-0 at the time, and I'm going against Jim France, who's the all-time wins leader in the state of Ohio. And, we're feeling good about ourselves. I mean, Waleed Barduo was our defensive coordinator. He was doing a great job. Chip Robinson was our O-line coach. He was doing a great job for us. And we go in there and we're scoring like 35 points a game. And, defense is playing well. And, Manchester was always a big hurdle for us to get over. And in the first half, we go right down the field and we score. We're good to go.
Feeling good.
And they rip off this 30-play drive, and he's just going. And then, before we look at it, I think it's 28-7 at halftime, but they switch defenses. Jim France, forever is a 50 front. He'll play cover 3. If he's got the guys, he'll play man-to-man coverage. So after our first drive, he comes out in a wide 4-4 stack, and our kids are like,
you didn't rep it all week in practice.
Yeah, I'm like, we've been playing odd fronts the whole time, the whole year up to this point. Jim France has never changed, never. And I'm coming in at halftime, and I'm walking my head down. I feel this tap on my shoulder, and it's Jim France. And I don't think he said one word to me my whole life before that. He goes, "Do you really think I was going to let you just walk in here and call your offense all over the place?" He's like, "I'm not that old." They whooped our behind, but yeah, Ethan Wright he's
a good player, man. I'll tell you what. You talk about Lynn Bowden. We commentated that game, and I can tell you exactly what happened. Massillon got the opening kickoff. It was a methodical 3-yard, 4-yard, 4-yard first down in between the hashes. So they go down and score. They go up 7-0. They onside kick it. They get the ball back. They put another one right in Harding's eye. So now there's I want to say about 45 seconds left in the first quarter before Harding even touches the ball, and they're down 14-0. They kick off the first offensive play. Lynn Bowden runs a QB read or whatever it was, zone read or a QB counter or whatever it was. And he was gone. And it was 14-7. At the end of the game, it was 49-28 Harding, without even one play in the first quarter. And Lynn Bowden had about 325 yards rushing, 5 or 6 touchdowns, and he threw for another $125. He was every single run that day. I mean, and Massillon was good, but it was like he was playing a JV team. I mean, he would go right, he'd make 2 guys miss, then he'd cut up the middle, then he'd go to the left. I mean, it was like
it was a video game.
He would disappear in people's arms.
It was Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl.
It was unbelievable. And the great thing is, Coach Tom McDaniels was in the box, and I looked at him like, holy shit. I'm like, have you seen anything like that? And he starts shaking his head. And I'm like, who? Because I mean, I knew that he did, but I wanted to see where he was going with it. And as you said, TJ, Maurice Claret. He goes, Maurice Claret. But Bowden was the best high school player I've ever seen play live. Not on TV or highlights or anything, but to see him play live, he was just unbelievable.
You know what used to amaze me, and we didn't play Harding, but we got a lot of films that they were in, and I'd see these coaches like there was no secret about Lynn Bowden, even when he was a senior, and I'd see these coaches kick off to him. I'm like, what are you thinking?
Kicking out of bounds.
Like, oh, well, let's just see. Let's just see if we can. No, you're not going to.
Don't
give
see.
them.
I'll tell you what you're going to see. You're going to see his ass
Yeah.
run down the
And that's
sideline
what
with
would
the ball
happen.
up in the air
That's
at
what would
about the
happen every
20-yard
time.
line because he outran everybody.
Yeah. That's what I and I remember the teams that did it. I won't put them on blast here, but you know, I'm watching these films. I'm like, do you guys even like?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Kicking the ball to that kid.
He was so much fun to watch.
Man, he was
Anthony
unreal.
Meglin.
Yeah,
Anthony
Black
Meglin,
gold.
yeah. He's got a place in our heart, don't
Oh,
he?
my
Hey,
gosh.
one of the most impressive things I ever saw, and I know this hurts for you, partner, but
When they beat Mount Union when he was a freshman, they beat Dom Davis. I know where you're going.
And broke a 202 game regular season winning streak.
Mm.
I mean, that's unheard of right there for Mount, but for it to
As
be
a freshman.
Anthony Meglin, he rolls in there, and that game was back and forth. You talk about Dom, taking him
Both my
downfield.
guys.
And then boom, Anthony's in there, and he just had the guts to stand in there and sit in there and make the hard passes.
You know what it
at the
was
end
to
of the
win?
game?
So I get a text from him after the game, and I had been listening to it. And I worked with Dom Davis. Don had a great career at St. Vincent St. Mary. St. V could have very easily won state his senior or junior year. They were winning. Oh, you guys pounded them. But they were beating this team from Athens, who had this decent quarterback who sucked in the first half. Then all of a sudden, Joe Burrow comes out in the second half and goes like 18 for 20 for like 295 and like 4 touchdowns. So Dom gets beat by him.
How does he never play at Ohio State? How does Joe Burrows never play at Ohio State?
You think
he's not Urban's system.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think at the beginning,
late bloomer, maybe
he
a
didn't
little
get
bit.
to develop because they were putting him. He threw the ball so well. I'm assuming he played a lot of scout team.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is they're running the ball out of that
that's
position.
not his. I mean, him transferring to LSU was the best thing that ever happened. That offense, it wasn't just like Ohio State's offense wasn't really the best offense for him to run. Could he have been successful in it? Yes, of course he could have. But you put him in with Jefferson and some of those guys he had at LSU, you put him in shotgun and just say, hey, look at the defense. His dad was an defensive coordinator for OU, longtime coach. You know, he's a coach's kid, high IQ. Give him the ball and let him go to work. And that's what he did.
Drew, don't you change your offense so it fits around him?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I was at Hoban, we had Danny Clark, and Danny was a pro-style quarterback and, great kid, one of the best kids I've ever coached. But we ran the ball, 40 times a game, and that was my thing. That's what I've always done. Then when I got to St. Thomas, coach with Mike Cook, we didn't have the linemen, and we threw the ball, 40 times a game?
Yep.
So you have to change. But you know what I think about? Can you imagine Joe Burrow in Ryan Day's offense?
Oh, my gosh.
Ooh, wow.
It'd be ugly.
He'd break every record.
He would be doing what Stroud did.
Maybe better.
Yeah.
He's had some dudes. How scary is it? You talked about, the 2 kids from Ohio State that get drafted inside the top 15 picks, and the best receiver is
transferred to Alabama.
No, the best receiver is back at Ohio State this year, Najigba Smith. He was better than both of them at the end of the year last year.
What
now
he
got Jade.
What he did in that Rose Bowl game.
Woo, that was a clinic, bro.
And Utah was good.
Yeah,
those
were
dudes
good.
came to play too. I mean,
they did come.
They got a bunch of guys drafted.
Ton.
Well, we didn't even talk about the Big Ten and the changes with UCLA and
Wild.
USC coming in.
We
and
touched on it a little
Washington's going to come. Oregon's going to be there.
Those changed the logo to the big $sign.
Man,
how much longer does the NCAA last?
Not much. Nor do they deserve to.
How about this? How about Jim Tressel for NCAA commissioner? How about that?
Yeah,
Amen.
We got a Stark Media breaking news story.
that would be nice. That's his next.
What we got here?
There's got to be more leniency with what they do, and that's where you saw, as John mentioned, John McAllister. Hey, guys have been doing it forever, right?
Yes.
And there's so much money, billions and billions of dollars that the NCAA has made off the backs of kids who you're getting $100,000 scholarship. I understand, but now we're starting to see a little bit more fairness, which I worry about is, and I think JP can attest to this too, is that if the quarterback's getting $125,000 Bentley from up here in Canton, You know, what's his offensive line getting? What's the left tackle getting? What's the right guard getting? You know, if you're getting a duffel bag dropped off in Jim Ballard's dorm room for 100 G's and I'm getting 5 G's, I got a little problem with
I know if they're getting
That's
a lookout
cancer in that
block.
locker room.
I think Harbaugh's going to be calling Eric Kempthorne here to see if he can help out with some of his new recruits.
Tell the quarterback better break me off. We're going to get that lookout block.
That's right.
I was going to say, man, because here's the thing, man, and you guys all know this. The quarterbacks always get more credit than they deserve, and they always get more blame than they deserve, and they get a lot of times get way more money than they deserve. But they're the guy that it centers around. Those guys are always going to get paid,
100%.
And it's up to those guys, man. You got to take care of your boys, man.
Yeah.
You got to take care of your boys. Take them out to dinner, whatever.
That's one thing that I will always say about Troy Smith, man. He took care of his offensive linemen, and when you take care of your offensive linemen,
those guys will run through the ball for you, man.
Absolutely.
You know, he made one of the best business decisions ever going into the Heisman Trophy year. He knew if he was going to make it to the NFL that he was going to have to pass the ball. He was going to have to get out of that mold of being a running quarterback. So he told us as an offensive line, he said, our favorite steakhouse was downtown Morton's. He said, if you guys get me a 100-yard rusher every week from line of scrimmage, I don't care if it's Teddy, me, Beanie, Pitt, whoever it is, get me a 100-yard rusher, and I'm going to take the starting 5 linemen out and the tight end to Morton's, whatever you guys want. You know how many times we had a 100-yard rusher that year?
10.
Every game but one. Every game but the national championship game. And I can tell you, there were dudes in the huddle with about 6-7 minutes left to go in the game. And they knew exactly how many yards. Hey, Beanie's got 83. He's coming back in. Y'all better open.
I need a medium well up in here, man. We better run the power.
I need you to blow that 3 technique off the ball. I'm coming around. We're getting 18. We're eating this week. We're eating.
Boy, you talked about great players. How about Ted Ginn?
Long career, man.
Jeez.
What did he play, 15?
Yeah, finally stepped away. And, you know, Glenville was one of the teams we thought was going to come down here. They weren't able to make it. And Teddy G, man, I'll tell you what a talent. I mean, he's one of those game changers, you know. And we talked about Maurice, but there was 2 guys when I was at Ohio State that I heard the entire 110,000 people in that stadium just stop and chant their name. And it was Maurice. And then it was Teddy, the things he did on the field.
Sure, that wasn't TJ.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
I
like that.
I must have been hungover from Thursday.
Yeah, right. Just thinking about that steak dinner. You weren't worried about what the crowd was yelling.
Man, when he hit that, he had a gear that nobody else did.
Oh, yeah.
And when he hit that, it was gone. I remember seeing the punter 2004. Nice breakup in the back of the end zone there for Warren Harding, and they're going to throw a flag on it. But when you look at that game in 2004 when we played Michigan, we had them in the horseshoe, and we were a double-digit underdog. We were rebuilding that year. You know, we went 8-4, and at Ohio State, they were calling for Tress's head. You go 8-4 anywhere else, man, that's a great year.
Good season, yeah.
Win the Alamo Bowl, you know. So we're playing Michigan in the horseshoe, and I'll never forget Teddy Ginn taking that punt return back to the house.
I was in C-deck right above it.
You remember watching the angle that punter tried to take on him? It was like,
not a chance.
Not even a thing.
Again.
And Teddy slowed down just to draw him in, just to play with him.
To your point, why are you punting him the ball?
And you know what? Right. You know what's funny about that game is I remember that game too. That's the game Braylon Edwards started dropping the football.
Yes, he did.
He dropped that ball at least 3 times.
And he kept that rolling right into Cleveland, didn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't slow down, man. That thing picked up.
Kept the same gloves.
Tip in the back of the end zone. Flint was trying to punch one in there. Warren Harding's going to get the ball.
Well, it looks like they're going to get the dub, not the ball. I think this one's over.
It's a wrap. So Harding, they're going to take on MCK.
Yeah, I'm going to head down to the field and check out these semi games, and I'll report back to you.
Do your thing, Big Daddy. What week you guys got Warren Harding?
Oh, man.
Mid-season, about week 5?
I told you I know who we got week 1. I can tell you that much. We locked in on Moeller. But, yeah, at mid-season there, I know we got the Eagles, week 2. And then I want to say
Golden Eagles.
Golden Eagles, yeah. Golden Eagles and 4 or 5. Yeah.
I'm sure you guys will be calling them something different on game day.
No, none but politeness. All friendly.
What's that environment like up there? It's Molotov Stadium, right? What's that environment like up there?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a lot. I didn't have a lot of success in there as a player. I played with the Prescott, was it Prescott that was there?
Yeah,
him
Burgess.
Yeah, he played safety there, and Anthony Hoke, who I played with down at Cincinnati, and They beat us in a double overtime game over there. We actually then lost to them in the playoffs that same year on a missed extra point in the double overtime session. But awesome atmosphere. It's one of the better, one of the most electrifying high school stadiums I've been at. I just didn't have much success.
Here's my question to you. Set McKinley aside.
Yeah.
What's more exciting, to play against Warren or Steubenville Big Red?
See, when I came through, Steubenville was on a dip. So the only experience I had with them, I was a freshman and we went down there and we beat them about 70-7. So I never really got the Steubenville experience. Warren's a thorn in my side though, so I got a special place for the Warren Harding Raiders.
Well, Coach Reno, when he wins his next game, is going to be the all-time winningest coach in Ohio high school history.
Yeah. I've seen him speak at some clinics and different stuff, and I mean, you talk about the old school throwback.
Oh, yeah.
Every lineman loves to play for a guy like that anyways. But, I mean, I like the guy as a coach. Just didn't really get a chance to go up against him as a varsity player. But I'm a big fan.
You go down to Steubenville, he is the mayor. He is the
Sure.
sheriff. He is the judge.
Right? This is different down there.
And it's been that way for generations now with kids. Their dads are bought in and their grandpas are bought in. And
that's old school football down in Steubenville.
Yep.
I hold a little special place in my heart for Prescott. He was a safety coming out. Goes up there to Michigan, and he wanted to come down there in the box and tussle with the big boys. So they had him playing outside linebacker. They also brought your buddy Sean Crable in there and play a little bit of linebacker. I remember the game of the century. They walked him up into the A gap. They were trying to fool us a little bit. I'm like, not my house.
Not
right?
a basketball game player.
But Prescott, the play where we sealed that game and clinched it ended up being 42-39, and we advanced to the national title game. We ran 47 power, and we had the double team from Steve Rearing and Alex Boone on the front side, blasted that 3 technique into space. And I came around the corner, and Prescott Burgess is sitting there. I see that number 6 jersey, and instantly I just kind of started salivating. You see a 6 down in the bottom. Okay.
Single digit, baby.
Party time, right? I came around there, took him back about 5-10 yards, and I see Antonio Pittman come off my block. And at that moment, we knew we're going to the national championship game. And I just remember looking over at Prescott saying sorry and grabbing Pitt and saying, oh, yeah.
Right.
Game time.
What was that stadium like for the national championship game?
Down there in Glendale?
Yeah.
Wasn't very good. I mean, we lost 41-14.
But still, I mean, the atmosphere.
It was electric going into it, but similar as Jim talked about Bobby Jones playing over there in Penn State. It was so annoying after every first down. You'd hear that roar, the lion roar, and it would get into your head. And then on top of that, playing Florida, and you hear everybody doing that little swamp chomp,
gator chomp going.
And it's like, oh man, it was hard, But to me, and I think JP will tell you this too, because you played Nip, right?
Yep.
Playing in your home stadium with your home fans.
Nothing beats it.
There's no atmosphere like that. It's fun going on road, especially as road warriors, man, in the trenches. We like going in there and kind of beating up on somebody in their own house. But there's nothing like being at home, man. There's nothing like winning at home.
Right.
So as trench guys, if you could have played any other position, what position would you want to play?
I want the rock. Snap me the rock. Let me QB this thing. I always felt like I was out of position to start with. I've been arguing with coaches for 25 years.
He may say the same thing.
Right, yeah.
No. I grew up, my all-time favorite player was Barry Sanders.
Okay.
I wanted to run the ball.
Well, see, I could have handed it to you. We could have had a 1-2
JP
going.
in the backfield.
Run the read option.
Who knew you could share like that? Look at you.
You played your ball down there with the Bearcats.
Yep.
And that stadium, Nip, at nighttime, daytime, whenever it is, Cincinnati, and that entire community has gotten behind Coach Fick. What's it like for you as an alumni, as a former player, to be able to see what's going on down there, to be able to see your guys get in to the college football playoff?
It was great. We had a couple seasons there. When I was at Cincinnati, it was when D'Antonio took over. So he kind of took the program, and built on it. And then I played for Kelly for a couple years, and we won a BCS. We were in the Big East back then, so we got the BCS rings and went to a couple big games. But it was really good to see I know we had a little dip there with Tuberville, and then to see what Fickle did, just came back in, and Fickle's recruited some of our guys, so I've got to, build a relationship with Fickle since he's been there, and he just went to work. He's a trench life guy.
Yep.
He just went in there, and he didn't do anything fancy or try to reinvent the wheel. He just went in there and went to work that off season, and got the kind of guys that fit that system and fit that mentality, and he's got it rolling down there.
Well, you talk about some of the guys that got recruited. You've got some kids up at Kent State too.
Yep.
Clark.
Dean Clark. Yep,
oh boy, he played so well for Kent State.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had a chance to talk to Sean Lewis that much?
No, he's been around, just at different events we have in there. But I'm usually the one running the event, so I don't get a whole lot of time to socialize usually at them. But I know they love Dean, and Luke Murphy's another Massillon guy.
I was just going to say,
there.
yeah, Murph. Who's hurt last year.
Yep.
Shoulder injury. And so
Luke Murphy's a guy who I don't know what he's weighing these days, but he was 180 pounds.
He's more than that.
But in his mind, he thought he was 260. So he didn't care who it was. He was giving you all of it, you know, and sometimes he was his own worst enemy with that stuff. He's getting hurt and everything else. But he's a heck of a ball player. I think he'll have a good career down there.
So now there's another Murphy. He's up at Kent State.
Luke, the safety.
Okay, so you potentially will have him and Mean Dean starting right next to each other, right? That's got to be pretty cool.
I think he would have started last year
if he didn't get hurt.
If he didn't get hurt,
he was up there on the depth chart. He was fighting for it.
Yeah, with that offense that they run, so many plays, and they fired their defensive coordinator, who is a very good friend of mine.
Okay,
and he just told me, he said, "Look, I don't know how you set a defense up when this offense is running the way that it is."
Yeah. Just the rapid fire and it's a little bit of what we dealt with Green last year in the playoffs. They just by the end of the game, your D-line's tongues are hanging on the ground because it's this rapid fire play, sprint up to the line. It's a 3-yard hitch, but they did it, so quick it just takes its toll on you.
Yeah,
you got to get them through. You got to get off the field on third down against them teams.
Are there too many games in high school football now here in Ohio?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I like to play 15 every year. I guess it's 16 now. Ours got cut short last year, so to me, no, there wasn't enough last year to me. But I get what you're saying. I think we're definitely at the top end of it, where it's it's hard to go 16 weeks of practice and banging and hitting and staying healthy. It really is by the end of that playoff run, who's healthy. You know what I mean? Injuries have impacted us specifically. It feels like every year we have a big injury going into that final game, and it's just the old better to be lucky than good type stuff,
Well, you've had so many guys that have stepped up over the years. You had somebody that got hurt, running backs that went down, and I think it was Ford was the running back who stepped in after he hadn't played.
Yeah,
hardly at all.
You're talking Kaishad Mack. He stepped in against Hoban and had a game when Jameer got hurt. Yep. And then the following year, Terrence Keys, when we beat Hoban, he gets a concussion in the fourth quarter of that game, and he's out the state title game. So it's just one of them things. Every year it seems like it's something. Whether that's attributed to the long season or just it's going to happen anyways. But I definitely don't think we need to go any more than where we're at now.
So we got 1 minute till we get these semis underway. We do know now that Malvern was beat by Maple Heights 24-7. Maple Heights is going to take on Benedictine. McKinley is going to take on Warren Harding. Winner of those games will play for the championship here at the Kempthorne Kickoff Classic, powered by Stark Media. Want to thank all of our sponsors today: Canton Insurance Agency, Nationwide Mortgage, Nathan's Patio, Decca Lash, Spirit of Stark, and Simon Says Promotions. Obviously, the Bulldog 100 and Stark Media making it happen out here. JP, before we kind of talk about some of these businesses here, I'm sitting here looking at my McKinley Maslin McKinley
I was gonna say,
rosters. I didn't want to catch that. He kind of sitting behind me there, man. I didn't want to get one of them old slaps in the back of the head.
You're going to get it from one side or the other.
Straighten up, young man. Yeah, I got 2 circles here you can see on the right side of this chart. 84 Chase Bond and 52 Marcus Moore. This hasn't been touched since that game last year.
Gotcha.
Marcus, he's committed to Akron.
Marcus is committed, yep.
Chase Bond, we know I've seen him out here on the knee scooter. Yep. Where's he at with his recovery? And as a 6'3", 200-pound sophomore, he really came on at the end of the season for you.
Sure.
What are your expectations for him this year as a junior?
Well, number 84, Chase Bond, is now number 63, Chase Bond. Yeah, 6'3", 200. Is that what he's on there as? He's about 240 right now.
That's that knee scooter though. He's been eating good.
I seen he's got wrappers in it. I told him, I said, you better be careful, man. You ain't getting your cardio. And I see there's wrappers in your basket. Chase is a guy that will be able to slide. He played primarily as our 5-tech defensive end last year. He's a guy that didn't start out playing for us early in the year, and he just kept battling, earned a starting spot. He's a guy we could slide inside at some 3-tech and some different packages now. And you might even see Chase Bond on the other side of the ball this year playing a little offensive tackle. You alluded to Marcus and with the Akron commit, and last year he was a full-time starter on the D-line for us. He'll probably play a little bit of offense too. And in my world, I'm pushing the OC, John Mazer, who does a great job with our offensive line guys. Marcus and Chase will probably rotate a little bit at the same tackle spot. We want to make sure they're nice and fresh on defense. But Chase and Marcus both expecting big years from both of them.
Oh, my.
They give it
big
to him?
play in the back of the end zone for the McKinley Bulldogs. Just
snag.
pulled it down and toes on the back of the line. Wow.
Toe tap.
And Coach Bondrell Bardwell, he's out there in the middle. He's kind of giving it to Keaton Rohde a little bit. I don't know.
I seen Coach Leisure out here gave the ref a little help with that touchdown signal there.
Now Keaton getting a little love. Hey, Coach Bondre, man, he was actually he started his coaching career at Glen Oak when I was there, and he was fun to be around. But I'll tell you what, he does get fiery. You know him well. Spent some time over there.
He was over at Massillon for a bit. Yeah. Oh yeah, I loved him over at St. Thomas, and guy who had stepped away from the game is Tim Budd. I think we lost a great coach here in Starr County, and Tim just called me about a week or two ago. He's actually taken a job up at Coventry,
really,
as an assistant principal. And I said, "Do they let administrators coach over there?" And he said, "Well, I may be one of the first to go ahead and do that."
Yeah.
What a great offensive mind he is.
Sure.
And you talk about having to try to change the mentality of an organization. He was able to bring that toughness to it.
Yeah.
And I really wanted him to talk to my son, Matt, because that's essentially what he's up against, when he's up at Wadsworth. JP, we were in this locker room after they played their last game. There was not a single kid in that locker room that had a tear in his eye. That told me that pilot light's not really lit on a lot of these guys. And that's the mentality that you have to try to change.
Absolutely.
How tough is it being a head football coach over at Jackson, knowing basketball teams won state titles, baseball teams won state titles, girls do really well.
I think the swimmers just competed for something. Yeah,
their volleyball team, their boys volleyball team is outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Murphy, the daughter, she just swam for them this year, and she came
Luke's
off.
sister, we was talking about Luke. Yeah,
she came off of a pretty bad, I believe it was a knee injury, and she'll be, I believe, she's the only girl from this area that will be swimming at the Division I college level next year.
She's outstanding. Now their dad, I believe he coached.
He was my offensive line coach. Yeah, I could tell you some Dan Murphy stories. We're going to do that off air. That was a few years ago. I don't want to get him in any trouble.
Didn't he coach up at Ursuline too?
He did. He came, I believe, when Coach Shep was a Youngstown guy, Coach Shepis, and he brought Murph down here during his time. And Coach Murph coached O-line and was the OC, and he was one of those guys we was talking about earlier here that was tough on his guys. And looking back on it now, you're appreciative of it, but at the time, he wasn't on my Christmas card list back when I was playing.
But you thank him now when you see him.
Absolutely. I catch myself stealing some of his tricks he used on us that I wasn't a fan of 15 years ago. But yeah, great coach. He's actually administration over at RG Drag now. I think he hung up the whistle, but he still gets his fix, I'm sure, with Luke at Kent State.
Maybe he'll come back and officiate or something sometime.
I'd be in trouble. I'll go in the box at that point. I can't be on the field today. He'd love to flag me up.
JP, tell us about some of these businesses. Simon Says Promotions, which you've been running for a long time now since you've come back into the community, and now Spirit of Stark and what you guys are about, and the custom apparel and doing it for everyone.
Simon Says Promotions, it started out as a sales and marketing company. We were I had a couple buddies in college that started the business, and I knew I was always had the knack to sell something, and I would always sell their product and take a little commission. And started my own LLC. And Simon Says Promotions, I saw there was no barrier to entry in the custom apparel world. And I always seen all these camps I was at, and football, basketball, baseball, and the coaches were always complaining their orders were messed up or late or whatever. And it was actually a Mick Cronin basketball camp. There's a throwback for it. He was a Cincinnati basketball coach when I was there. And I overheard him talk, and I said, "Hey, coach, if I can get the shirt order, would you buy them off me?" Absolutely. So I went and found a local screen printer, and he, gave me a price. I tacked my little, something on top of it to eat that night. And I seen that it was a successful formula, and it grew kind of from that. I came up here to Massillon and partnered up with Dan Studer, who anybody from around the area probably remembers his dad. He was legendary strength coach, Steve Studer.
Ooh, yeah.
And the Studers had a place in Massillon growing up. It was called the Tiger Store. It was where we bought all our gear at. I always bought my T-shirts and everything. And, when I was growing up there, and when I came back up here, he was about the second or third phone call I made. And I said, let's open this Tiger Store back up. I got this idea for apparel. And it really started out just Massillon, and I found out the formula early that the more games the Tigers win, the more T-shirts the Tiger fans buy. So, we had some success with the Tiger Store, and we wanted to do more than just Massillon. So we kind of transformed Simon Says Promotions more into a holding parent company. And I partnered up and with a guy that worked for me forever, DJ Zimmerman. He's a freshman coach over at Massillon. And we formed Spirit of Start.
Chase's dad, right?
Chase's dad, Chase Bond. We was just talking old number 63's old man.
Got to get used to that.
Yeah, I know,
63.
all right? And, we started Spirit of Start about a year ago, and we're pretty much servicing, I guess the tagline is the greater Stark County area today. And it's been good for us. And Simon Says is kind of going off into some other ventures and, sponsoring some other businesses to get off the ground. And, it just kind of came full circle with everything in Stark County, and then with Stark Media, and it just kind of all fit together.
McKinley Bulldogs. Now, did I get this correct out here, Mark? It looked like Warren Harding had scored in the back of the end zone.
Yes, I believe they did.
Okay, and then now I just saw, though, that the McKinley Bulldogs got an interception. So they're going back and forth over there, man. This is some high-end competition. Warren Harding, McKinley in one semi. You're going to have Maple Heights and Benny down on the other end. I think they are just getting ready to get that game started.
It's tough for me to pick who to root on in this Warren McKinley game. I don't really know which direction I want to go. Can we end in a tie on this one? Or?
No ties tonight. No.
We'll flip the double-sided coin for a winner, right?
All right, there you go. Heads I win, tails you lose.
There it is.
Sammy B back with us, man. How are the refreshments over there?
Oh, they were good. They were strong. I've had enough sugar in my lemonade to keep me going until like July of 2024.
I wonder what he meant by strong lemonade.
Yeah, Tito's in there.
I didn't see that stand.
Shout out to our sponsor, Tito's.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't limoncello, TJ.
Telling you. No, you can't touch that. No, man, I had a corn dog. I had some fries, throw a little vinegar and salt on there.
JB's doing a little bit of both. He got a little sausage.
JB's on round 3.
I like
two, he says.
Feed the beast.
But yeah, hey, free it. You guys, everybody, we're down to the semifinals now. McKinley Ward, Maple Benny, Cleveland Benedictine. Gates are open. Come on over to the Hall of Fame Village Sports Complex. The food trucks and lemonade still here. You watch the 2 semifinals and the championship game and see what we got going on here. Again, no charge. Come on in. Come on over.
Nice little scene. Everybody just kind of gathering around field too here.
Yeah, this is cool. I'll tell you what, guys. This is not to toot our own horn or anything, but I think this turned out really, really well.
Yeah.
I mentioned several hours ago, and by the way, this has flown by. I looked at my clock, and it's almost 8. It's gone so fast, and we've had such great conversation, watching some great talent, people smiling, having fun, and walking around and just talking and breathing and eating football. It's just we've been blessed with great weather.
Absolutely.
Obviously, great facilities. I want to shout out all of our sponsors, of course, Kempthorne Motors, making it happen, along with our good friends at Simon Says Promotions, Stark Media, Kent Insurance Agency, Nationwide Mortgage. Shout out to Nathan's Patio, Deca Lash, the Spirit of Stark, the Bulldog 100, and I don't guarantee anything in life, but I can assure you that year 2 of this event is going to be massive.
Sure.
And it's going to get bigger and better. Word is going to spread from the coaches, the players, the kids, the assistants, the people that are helping us run this, the sponsors. I've heard a lot of good things just walking around. I had the gentleman, Gus, is running one of the food trucks over there, the pretzels and the fries. And he says, you know what? I didn't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, this has been fantastic. And I'm not putting words in his mouth. He said, this has been fantastic, exceeded his expectations. People are having fun. They're enjoying all the great food and the football. I also want to share a post somebody just made on the our Stark Media Facebook page. Just happened to see it. And from Kevin Phillips. Anybody
What's
know
up, Kevin?
Phillips?
What up, Kev?
Says, guys, the Kickoff Classic was impressive and professionally done. There were 7 4-man football games, 7-man football games being played while the team's linemen competed against each other. Everywhere I turned, I saw athletes smiling, having fun, vigorously competing, and encouraging each other. Thank you, Stark Media, for a great evening of football.
Wow, it's great.
The only thing I would change on this whole thing,
cherry on top,
is the championship game gets played inside Tom Benson Stadium, like the old days when we played flag football and we had to play. When we played for this university championship, we got to go. We played in Dick Stadium.
Nice. Unless it's McKinley Warren, then we'll make him play on the grass on Don Scott, right?
Well, you just don't stop, do you?
No, yeah.
You're just brutal.
Foot on the gas.
Brutal.
Got the gas.
Surprised you didn't bring that cotton pick and axe you carry around with you everywhere.
That's a sledgehammer.
A sledgehammer. I keep calling it an
He's
axe.
going to be like the little groundhog in Caddyshack, man. He's going to be making little potholes out there, man. I'm going to take about 4 or 5 of these guys out for you in this game.
See me greasing the rope in the tug of war event.
Oh, my God.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Right.
That's right. Don't ever forget that. So we have this has been so much fun, and want to remind everybody that we are here, Stark Media. That's us. That's what we are about, and that's what we will be moving forward. We got some great plans we'll be telling you about. Here comes a big play here in the end zone. Almost picked off a touchdown. Again, the semifinals going on right now. McKinley Warren and Maple Heights and Cleveland Benedictine. The 2 winners will play in the championship game coming up here at the Hall of Fame Village Sports Complex. And again, the crowd's already kind of gathered over here in this middle field, taking all this action in. But this has been a lot of fun. And again, looking forward to doing it again next year. But in the meantime, myself and TJ Downing, Mark Milano, JP Simon, Jimmy Ballard, Lee Foster, Dana Rohde, Drew Sirackman. I want to mention Tony Eastwood from Eastwood Films. Jeff over there, Jeff even found a lost cell phone for somebody today, so he's been doing a little bit of everything.
Humanitarian of the Day award.
So shout out to Jeff Tyler and all the help he's done. And this is just the start, boys. Sure. This is just the start. We are going to be announcing a partnership with a very, very, very big and prominent.
Are we making that announcement tonight?
No, no.
Okay, just checking.
I said I was going to dangle the carrot, but we are going to making an announcement here very soon. We are going to be partnering on high school football and high school basketball broadcast, radio-wise, app-wise, with one of the biggest in the country. Yep. So stay tuned for that announcement. We got that coming up here very soon. Once we get the ink to dry and everything's officially official. So we got that going. We're going to be broadcasting games. TJ, let's talk about some of the other stuff that we've got going on. Summer sessions, podcasts. We have got a lot of things lined up here with Stark Media. And now's the time to get in, jump on board, and become a part of it whichever way you can, because this baby's about to take off.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I just seen down there, Benny just had a nice interception on Maple Heights. But, I mean, you can see the competition out here between these 4 teams going back and forth, shooting that ball to the back of the end zone. You know, it's high-end competition. And you mentioned that, Sam, you know, from that post that Kevin Phillips made, that everywhere you turn, you see people smiling, you see guys competing. getting after it. JP's over there running that Trench Life Challenge. Guys are just fighting, battling, having a good time. And Benny gets into the end zone down on the other end, scoring one on Maple Heights. I think that's where the word spreads. And where we want this event to grow to have more of our friends in Stark County get involved.
Yep.
It's what we're about. We want everybody to be involved, but we want more of our friends right in our backyard to get involved with this. I think when people see the reactions, some of the footage from this event,
they're in.
They're
going to be knocking on the door now.
Come on over.
Knocking on
Come
the
on.
door.
We want to play too.
Yeah, and we'll have room for you because we've got how many more fields going in over here, right? So we've got plenty of room. Obviously, the facilities speak for themselves, second to none. They've had a lot of great events here over the last couple of years. During the day, they turn these lights on at night. You're out here. Lacrosse, soccer, flag football. There's lots of great stuff going on, and we'll continue to go on here on the campus, the Hall of Fame, at the Hall of Fame Village Sports Complex. And this is just our first year, and it'll be bigger and better. I guarantee you that next year, because we'll fix whatever bugs needed to be fixed, and we'll get more teams in, and more folks will be involved, and it's just going to grow. But I'm excited for everything we've got going on, from football, basketball, daily shows, podcast, our docu-series. Again, Eastwood Films is going to be heavily involved there, and it's going to be your one-stop shop for high school sports. We hope to down the road get involved with the local colleges and universities, doing some great things with them. And sky's the limit. I'm excited, and we're obviously working with a crew here that's second to none. And I mean, this is I'm so excited. I can't wait. It's July 8th.
You're almost giddy.
I am. I'm giddy. Giddy up, Pony. I'm getting ready.
Sam, you've been doing this long enough to know that you can't. I believe you mentioned it earlier. You win with good people. Eric Kempthorne still here walking around. He mentioned that you win with people. That Jim Tressel used to hear him say that. We'd have T-shirts printed up that said, "You win with people." You got to have good people in your corner. We've got some great partners that we've had jump on board with us. But really, when JP and I sat down and put this thing together, we said, we don't want to just be a one-trick pony. We want to do multiple things. We want to be diverse. We want to have women involved. We want to have kids involved. We've talked, Jim and I have done a podcast that we're getting ready to launch season 2 of the 1372 show, the QB and the OG. Got some of his old Mount Union Purple Raiders coming on. We'll be doing some stuff with the Hall of Fame coming up, different events through our NFL Alumni Association partners. But to me, it's him coming to me and saying, I want to do a show with my daughter. What's it like to be a high school kid now? Because it's from when him and I did it, it's different. From when you guys did it, way different, right? And so for him and his daughter Addie, who's going to be a sophomore at Lake, to be able to sit down and dad and daughter have a podcast and talk about what it's like, what she's going through, and maybe get some of her friends involved, to be able to give us as adults. I mean, I don't know, I feel still like I'm a young kid sometimes when I look at myself in the mirror, but to get that side of the story. We've talked about a show that we'll put out there for the moms. The moms that don't understand what their sons are going through out there, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, for their daughters out there compete. People want to know, what are these games all about? How do you break it down? The knowledge behind that. That's why we brought on a person like Dana Rohde, and we'd love to have a person like Gretchen Ballard come on. They know the game inside and out from the way they were growing up and raised around it. So maybe they can be teachers and philosophers of it for the people that listen. Having cooking shows, health shows,
financial shows.
Everything from real estate to finance. But really where I think we've hit something good here, and this really happened a lot with our partnership with Eastwood Films. The Stark Media Summer Session, and I can't tell you how long between all of us, how long we sat around the table and said, what do we call this?
We couldn't come up with a name.
Whoever thought of Hard Knocks is a genius, and I'm sure he's got a lot of jing in the bank account right now because of that, but it was so simple and how it rolls off the tongue. But Stark Media Summer Session, really the premise behind it is to get out there and really show people what the off season is all about around here. Guys go through the grind. It starts, 2-3 weeks after the season's over?
It's 30 days, and then you're right back at it.
In the weight room.
Yep.
We're in there in the weight room with them.
Touchdown Warren, right?
Warren getting after it, man. So Are you starting to cheer for them now?
No, you see, I said it kind of with that tone. Touchdown one.
It was
Wasn't
really
no excitement. It was
melancholy,
a period, no explanation mark. Just doing reporting here.
But we have 19 schools in Stark County. If we add our Malvern Hornets friends, we'll call it 20. What we've termed it now, the greater Stark County area. But to get a behind the scenes look at them, to be able to get into the weight room, to be able to get out on the practice field, and all these teams are getting ready to start burning camp days next week because you don't have the unlimited number now like you used to through the COVID years. You're back to the 10 camp days. To be able to get in there and really talk with some of these guys, talk with the coaches, have you narrating it, doing these different behind the scenes look of really what these guys go through, man. That's the grind of it all. Preparing yourself, we talked about that word. That's the key word in football, if you ask me. Getting yourself ready for a grinder, a 10-week grinder that you're hoping is going to lead you into what used to be 5 weeks, now
possibly
6 weeks.
16-week journey, guys.
That's an NFL regular season.
That's a lot of football for kids. Sometimes I wonder maybe if we're pushing too far.
I asked that question
a little
earlier.
bit.
Just talking about that.
Again, we'll see how the OHSAA and the playoff thing moves forward. I can't imagine we're going to keep letting in as many as we do now. I don't know.
Seems like everybody makes it now.
I mean, yeah, which
well, in Division One,
I mean, I'm old enough to remember they let 2 in.
Yeah,
4.
Remember the year Moeller and McKinley played up at the Rubber Bowl for a championship on a Saturday night in Akron. 10 degrees. Moeller won the game 14-2, but that was it.
Yeah,
I mean, you had 2 teams in each region. And I'm like, my gosh! And now we're letting everybody in, but
OHSAA still trying to recoup some of that COVID money they lost.
And I get it, but it's maybe come out and just tell us that's why. Don't put the spin on it. That's what I don't like.
Right. It's so transparent. Yeah. I mean, come on.
It's like
how many of those games were, running clock with some of those teams that let in? There was a couple surprises.
Very few.
There was a 16. A 16 did beat a 1, though.
Yeah, they did.
We had a 16 beat a 1. I think we had 2 15s beat 2s, and other than that, it was chalk.
Yeah,
but we'll see where that goes.
Down the field. Ooh,
touchdown
Bulldogs.
Keaton Rhodey throwing a dime in the corner of the end zone
Got
on that
right
50-50 ball, baby.
Man. Hurry up, get back up there, put it right where it needed to be, right?
Well, this is high drama down here.
Yeah,
I'm not even trying to be funny.
Shape.
This is good.
As a defensive back, you are on an island out there right now. I think those guys have the toughest challenges ahead of them right now.
Now, just so people can kind of understand, none of these guys have their real numbers on. Most of these guys aren't even wearing numbers on the back of their jersey. Right. So for us as traditional play-by-play broadcasters, it's hard to really give that to you. We're giving you a little bit of a visual. We're doing the audio, talking about a lot of different things. But for us to actually call this, some of these guys out there, we don't know the names on them right now because we're used to going off a roster and having all that information there at our hands. But I'll tell you one thing. Coming into this season, I wanted to see how this young man, Keaton Rhodey, number 15, was going to develop. He just threw a diamond.
Wow, right on cue.
For a touchdown.
Right on cue.
He split those reps last year. And kudos to Antonio Hall. He went every 2 series and never skipped a beat. Marion Williams got 2. Keaton got 2. Didn't matter if you just drove down there and did that. If that was series number 2, you're going on the bench. And to me, that's a tough thing. I
hate it. As a quarterback, I never had to deal with that as far as switching series, but I can tell you flat out, we talked about this on air quite a bit. It's hard to get in the rhythm, number one. And it could be a weird series, like you go in and you hand the ball off the running back, and all of a sudden he fumbles on the first play. Well, there's your series. So then you come back out, and then you go 3 and out.
Yeah.
So now you basically run 4 plays, 2 series, and you're done for however long that is.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get in a rhythm. And the other part is, depending on what point it is in the game, maybe there were adjustments made. Maybe what you saw as far as coverage wise from the defense or blitzes or stunts is completely different because of what point it is in the game. And you haven't been able to
make your own adjustment because you're not out there.
Yeah, you can't adjust. You're not in the flow. And then it's and then you can't. It's really hard to not play out of character a little bit, to try and not force that ball in just a little bit to get, maybe, if I throw a touchdown pass there, maybe I get that extra series.
Right.
So you do get kids that'll force the ball and play out of character. it's just McKinley did a good job with it, but I would not want to be one of those quarterbacks rotating.
The one area that he may have benefited from was the fact that when he came off the field, they were able to coach him more, and he was able to see some things. And if you watched Keaton on the sidelines, he was like another coach on the sideline when he was
high IQ kid. Really studies
so,
a lot of film. He's always in the iPad on the sidelines. Taking a look at and seeing what.
JP's over here taking notes.
Oh man,
a little insight.
Quarterbacks
hadn't said a word in 10 minutes. You notice that? You sit back, listen to all this information.
Like a sponge over there, man, just soaking it all in.
From my pencil sharp.
Just texted Nate Moore. I'm telling you, man, I'm watching him like
right now,
he is. I feel them eyes on me.
Coach Moore's in Hilton Head right now.
Still got cell service.
I texted him last night. I texted Becca last night asking if Eli was going to come to group. I've had an opportunity to work with some of the Massillon guys in the offseason, Eli Moore being one of them. He's taken a lot of great strides.
He got him out there doing those drills in the sand, man.
I even asked Becca that. I'm like, I guarantee he's doing drills in the sand. She's like, oh, yeah. you know how he's doing.
Training like Rocky and Apollo.
Antonio's down on the sideline now. He was busy working everything over there. It's come down to the nitty-gritty. The big man's over there.
That's right.
Terrence Moore getting some work in now. Once Terrence Rankle, Pitt, rotated in last year for that championship team. Won the ACC championship.
He's another high IQ guy.
Oh, absolutely. Very smart kid.
To me, it'll be interesting to see how he kind of develops and maybe gets himself into the draft. I mean, he's the type of guy that can play guard, tackle, center. When you're smart, you are versatile and you are valuable to an NFL team.
We saw him at Pitt last weekend, and I mean, he might be every bit of 6'7". I mean, he's a full 6'6".
He looked lean too, though. It looked nice and lean. And he's just in great shape. Kind of, that's the thing, and you can attest to this too. When you get to the Division I college level as a lineman, you almost have to shave off that baby fat.
Get rid of belly.
Get rid of that, and then they kind of build you back up. All of us think that when we get out of high school, like, oh yeah, I was an all-Ohio performer. I'm gonna go down there, I'm gonna jump into 2 deep, and I'm gonna be starting right away. And it doesn't necessarily work like that. Not everybody's built like a Nick Mangold or a Rob Sims or a Jason Kelsey, right? And so you get down there, and now you're 24/7, living, eating, breathing football. The weight room's different. The conditioning is different. The diet is different.
Nowhere to hide.
They control all the variables.
And they break you down, and they build you back up into this, chiseled up, ready to just dominate dudes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a hell of a process, and Terrence is right in the middle of it. And I think his upside, his potential is through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when you talk about changes in high school football, I really believe that the weight room and the nutrition has been the biggest change when you see what's going on here. JP, you talked about Coach Studer and everything that he had done, and he was up at Bowling Green. There was another guy by the name of Joe Kerr, who was a St. Thomas grad, and they were in the back of a pickup truck doing curls, driving around campus. And Brad Baker was a buddy of mine who they were recruiting, and he said he saw these two crazy guys driving around. He goes, I didn't want to go.
Right. It makes you rethink your future a little bit.
Right. What a great name, Joe Kerr, though.
Right. Absolutely.
But I think that, what Steve did, I mean, he was on that cutting edge of the weight room.
Sure. He was doing it. Now everybody's doing it. Most of the high schools now have a strength coach and a strength program. And Massillon, back then, we were one of the only teams that had one. He was really on the cutting edge of that back then.
Yeah, all we had at St. Thomas was a universal machine and one Olympic bench, and that was it.
Right.
And my basketball coach got so mad at me, saw me doing seated military presses, and he goes, that's going to make you shorter. I don't want you doing that. And I said, well, Coach, I hang from the bar when I get down to stretch myself back out. But, that was in the 70s, and that's what they thought. They thought, hey, that's going to screw up your basketball shot. That's going to slow you down. Well, they were so far from the truth.
Man.
And that's what Jack Rose changed at St. Thomas. When that weight room got built over there, what did we do? Wound up winning a state title then.
Changes the mentality. That's how you get them young kids to mature is through that weight room.
Yeah.
Same thing TJ was hitting. Break them down, build them up.
Yep, yeah, that's right. It's a whole new ball game. Once you walk out of your last day at your high school, and now, you're good, right? You're one of the best, either in your school or the state, the region. Well, now guess what?
More fish to
You're
fry.
going up against everybody who's the best in their school, the best of the region, the best of the state. Never mind going outside of the state of Ohio, which is very fertile grounds for football. but you got to start over. You got to hit the rewind button. And as TJ mentioned, and oh, by the way, you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's an
You
ego
may
shot,
be
man.
leaving home for the first time, going far away.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about the diet. No more donuts and Papa pizza oven at 11 o'clock, okay, before you go to bed. The training table is different. You may be getting up at 4:45 in the morning to run, to lift. You got to get your schoolwork in. It's
a job.
I don't know.
It is a job.
I don't know how a lot of the kids do it today. The pressure that is on them. And look, I think we still need to expect from our kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't want this whole society that has turned into turning soft on everything and enabling and everything else. But you got to hand it to them because there's a lot going on. I mean, I remember when I was 15, 16, 17, 18.
Right.
I wasn't ready for that.
Right.
No social media. No social media.
No. So you better have a good support system, obviously. You got to have great coaches. You got to have great people. And friends you can rely on and trust and maybe borrow a shoulder now and then and to get you through the good and the bad times. And the kids that come out the other end are better for it. They're prepared for life. They're prepared for sports. They're prepared to have families, prepared to make house payments. They're prepared for a lot of stuff. And they've always said, and I heard this from way long time ago, a lot of sports teach you a lot about life, but football, I still believe in my heart, teaches you the most. When you get knocked down, you get your butt back up and you start fighting again.
Sure. Ultimate team sport, man. Yep. Ultimate team sport.
We are Stark Live. We are broadcasting live on our YouTube channel. We've got some great videos and photos and activities on our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Make sure you like and share and retweet and comment. And jump on board with us here. Sam Berkman, Dana Rohde, JP Simon, Jimmy Ballard, Mark Milano, Lee Foster, Jeff Tyler, TJ Downing, the whole crew, Drew Sarakman, all out here today. We are just finishing up the semifinals of the Kempthorne Motors 7-on-7 Classic presented by Stark Media. First semifinal is done. Warren Harding beats Kent McKinley 16-15. And our second semifinal between Maple Heights and Cleveland Benedictine. We are waiting to get the score in there. So we know Warren Harding. So Maple Heights was a winner in overtime, 17-10. So our championship game is going to be Maple Heights versus Warren Harding coming up here on one of the main fields here, Field 2, at the Hall of Fame Village Sports Complex. And we're obviously not going to give you a play-by-play, but we'll let you know what's going on and who ends up winning. And again, I can't stress enough, get on our social media platforms for some really incredible content. Audio, video, photos, videos, interviews, quick 7-10 second snaps of things. Make sure you use the keyword Stark Media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, subscribe right now to our YouTube channel, Stark Media YouTube channel. Make sure you get that in there. You can watch and listen to all the great things. No charge. All we ask is you should just subscribe to it. That's all you got to do. Hit that subscribe button, Stark Media keyword on our YouTube channel.
I see my man Eastwood Films out there getting that exclusive.
Yes, Tony does. I'm telling you what, between his video, the drone footage, other camera footage and angles, the music, the production he puts under his stuff, Tony Eastwood from Eastwood Films.
Does all his own editing,
around.
big talent.
Yep, best around, up and comer, and I'm glad he's with us too.
Absolutely.
We got a great team here. There's
Nobody
no
else
question
is
about
flying drones over the games that they're doing.
Right. No, they're not.
We are
They are
unique.
not. This is going to be a lot of fun here. Definitely moving forward. So I think they're going to take a
little break
here, and then we'll get the championship game, Maple Heights and Warren Harding. Folks, the gates are open. You can still come on down and check it out. We still got the food trucks and lemonade ready for you. So come on by and check it out. We're at the Hall of Fame Village Sports Complex on the campus of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, right next door to Canton McKinley High School. And, of course, we had the Trench Life Challenge. Earlier today, Maslin was the winner there. And, JP, you know a thing or two about that, just like the big fellow over there next to you, 72, TJ Downing. But maybe a quick 1-2 minute synopsis of the Trench Life Challenge and what that was. And a lot of smiles, a lot of grunting, a lot of pulling, a lot of sweating, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And And just to build on that, I think the food truck, the Italian sausage people might have been the happiest people to hear about the Trench Life Challenge today. I know they hit that station afterwards.
They were hungry, weren't they?
Yeah, we went in and, we bench pressed and, did some big man warm-ups inside. And I know we hit on it earlier, the facilities here. And it was the first time I had been in the weight room since it got done. I was blown away by it. I mean, they did a really good job over here. We warmed up. We came out here and we did some one-on-one tire fights and some tug of war. And, guys were getting after it. Guys were fighting, having fun. It was competitive, but it was all in good nature, and we Tigers came out on top. So I had to tuck my smile in underneath trying to be an unbiased judge, but came out in my blue and gray to shout out my Fearless Falcons fans. But
there you go.
The Trench Life Challenge was good. I thought it ran smooth. We didn't know what was going to happen today with the weather. I was texting TJ back and forth this morning about what are we going to do if it rains, and and thank God it didn't. It looks like it's actually clearing up.
Oh, it's beautiful right now.
But it went well.
We got lucky with the weather. I know at one point I was talking to Jeff Tyler a little bit ago. I said, at one point it was 71% chance of rain today, and miraculously it got down to like 17, and we had a couple droplets for like 15 minutes. And I mean, look at this. This is beautiful. This is what you order up for something like this.
Sure, perfect weather. Good Trench Life weather. It was overcast all day, kind of ugly out.
A little humid, but get you loose and get you going a little bit.
They were going to take Coach Leisure and Blackson. They took and shout out to Jason Blackson too, right?
Yes.
I mean, everything that he does, his son, the career that he had down there at Heidelberg. You and I got a chance to call a lot of his games.
He's got another year left, man. He's got one more left.
Dude knows how to get after the quarterback, right? great wrestler coming out of Perry, I believe. Who was your son's best finish with wrestling? Took 8 3 times at the state wrestling meet. Knows that whole leverage and hand combatives. But Maple Heights, they came out. They were going to put 10 minutes on the clock to just kind of do pause in the action, chill out. Maple Heights lined up like, no, we're ready to go.
We're good to go. We're ready to roll right now.
And these guys are getting ready to bang it out here right now for the championship.
So this should be fun to watch and see how this plays out. Again, Warren Harding against Maple Heights in the championship semifinals. 17-10 Maple, a winner in overtime over Cleveland Benedictine, and Warren just got by Camp McKinley 16-15. So it's the Raiders and the Maple Heights Tiger. What's their nickname? I should know that.
Got them on here.
The Maple Heights Syrups.
Forget what the Maple
Heights.
I can't believe it. I don't remember.
I've been seeing these guys eat, man. I'm getting hungry, man.
Right?
Smell it.
I know one team that will never
we're
come
on
to
that.
this.
We're on that draft.
Right.
This is flowing towards the current of sausage.
Trying to stay away from it. It's bikini season, ain't it? You got to stay away from that
Right.
sausage truck.
We're talking about trimming down that baby fat.
Right, man.
I'm not trying to put that old man belly on.
TJ,
That dad bod.
do you think the Perry Panthers would ever come to a 7-on-7?
You know, I think they would.
As soon as Kirtland would come down for a 7-on-7.
You know,
As hell froze over.
There was a little
As soon
concern.
as Army and Navy come in for a 7-on-7.
Air it out.
There's a little concern when they heard the Tigers and one of the former Tigers is going to be running in that Trench Life Challenge, so they opted to stay out. I know they weren't ready to hold court just yet, but that's there's again a stark feel that we want to have to this, and I think after everybody sees what happened here this afternoon and tonight, there's going to be people that are saying, "Hey, we want to be a part of this." It's the competitive nature. Back in the end zone for Harding.
Oh, in and out.
Incomplete.
Got to catch that one.
That was a great
It's in the
throw.
hands,
Seam
young
route.
man. Yep.
Right over the defender's
But
head.
this could benefit a lot of people, and even though they're not stark, I mean the Green Bulldogs with the offense they run. This is something, and talk about that, JP. I mean, I know that's how your guys' season ended last year.
Yeah.
But as a defensive coach, as a defensive line coach, you talked about your guys' tongue. You talk about defensive lineman tongue dragging. How hard is it to get out there and go against that type of offensive scheme?
Well, especially speaking as a D-line guy, it's frustrating because you know that it's all catch and release. So you're not really able to get a pass rush. You can't really get after the quarterback because they're getting it out so quick. The old joke is you give up the hitch because nobody's just going to run a 3-4 yard hitch all the way up the field. Then you play green and they do it. They're really patient. And they stay within what they do. They don't get greedy, and then they set you up with the hitch and go and hitch in the second half of the game when you're biting on that a little bit. just staying patient with it and staying in our deep. It's hard to do when the bullets are flying, but it is frustrating as a D-line guy not being able to get any pressure because they're getting rid of it so quick, and the D-line's looking over for answers, and I'm just looking back at them with more questions. But it's definitely Green runs it really well. They had a couple good players that really fit that system, well coached, disciplined. It's a tough offense to stop.
Kenny Pete
in
in
the house.
Hey, we didn't even talk about the fact we got the East-West game then next week too, right? So
23rd.
Our prelude.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You ain't bring no cakes with you, man. We're hungry.
Nothing but cakes, man.
Come
on, alumni.
Let's go.
Come on, NFL alumni.
So much for bikini season. He brought the bunt cakes.
Oh, the bunt cakes. Oh, bring them. Let's go.
Listen, man.
Holy cow.
I don't know what they do or how they make them, but whatever they do, they got it figured out.
It's magic.
The carrot cake.
Yeah.
The red velvet
Red
with the white
velvet.
icing.
White,
That's
white
my-
raspberry. That's mine.
It's all fat-free, low-calorie too, ain't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You kidding me? That stuff's incredible.
Get him to sponsor the Trench Life.
It's like that no fat yogurt in the Seinfeld episode.
Cakes and sausages brought to you by Trench Life.
The official food.
Right.
Hey, whatever we can do.
We got to give a special shout out to this guy right out here that I know we haven't had a chance to get him on air here and talk a little bit, but he's been running the scene out here, and he's been the guy behind us in Kent McClellan. He's the one who reached out to us and said, hey, we want you guys to be a part of this. We see what you're doing. We see the talent that you guys have, and we want to form a long-term partnership to be able to make this a staple before training camp every year. Now, next year, we will look to start this probably around like the last or second to last week of July. A lot of coaches, you'll have a dead zone or a dead period, right?
Yep.
So to be able to do it right before then, where I feel like now is also you got a lot of coaches that are out after the holiday weekend. Coach Moore is down there on the beach working on his bikini season, right? And to have this a little bit closer, have this single 2 weeks before training camp, and really kind of just set it off and be the staple every year coming into the season. But Kent McClellan, man, he reached out to us. We made this thing happen along with Dave Jingo, Lisa Sims, Antonio Hall. They all got together, the Bulldog 100, and we got this thing together. So a shout out to Kent for bringing us on. He's been out there shaking hands, kissing babies all afternoon, and hanging with our guy Eric Kempthorne, Kempthorne Motors. What they did to get behind this thing here. We're out here setting this beautiful stage up early this afternoon. Perfect little spot right here, looking out on top of everything. We got the lights up on here. I mean, we could probably just see if Zach Brown wants to come down here and do his encore.
Hey,
we may be broadcasting until he's done. We're going on hour 5 here,
He already
partner.
started.
We're on hour 5, partner.
And we are rolling. Hey, want to tell you about our good friends at Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, Jeff Richard and Bob Zaley, premier sponsors of our event here today. They do mortgages differently, and we know what a wild time it is right now with interest rates and housing and banking. They have a combined 50 years experience of helping people to have an amazing home purchase experience, and that's what it's all about. We talked to Eric Kempthorne about the car buying experience and how great it is at Kempthorne. The same deal with Nationwide Mortgage Bankers. They will treat everybody like family, and they have cutting-edge technology as well. Loan programs, they got them. From veterans to first-time home buyers, if you're self-employed, even if you get a little couple of boo-boos on your credit, they will take care of you. We highly recommend our good friends at Nationwide Mortgage Bankers. Check them out on social media as well, Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, and they do an incredible job, and we thank them for their support here today as well. Also want to shout out Nate Milliman and our crew over at Nathan's Patio. If you're looking for somewhere to have lunch, dinner, late night snack, enjoy a few drinks during the weekend or what have you, see some great live entertainment, Nathan's Patio on 30th Street in Canton. Check them out. Also, the Canton Insurance Agency, Deca Lash, Spirit of Stark, Simon Says Productions, the Bulldog 100, and, of course, your good friends right here at Stark Media.
Well, you mentioned Kent McClellan, too, and I don't know if you guys know this. He was one heck of an athlete when he was in high school.
He's still a great pickleball player.
Both football and
yes.
basketball. And Sam, I remember watching him playing. I think he was only a freshman or a sophomore at Lehman. and watched him play at the field house and how he commanded that, and came over to St. Thomas Aquinas. I got a chance to see him play quite often, and what a great job he's done over here working with everybody to try to pull this thing off.
Hey, Stark Media Summer Session, it doesn't stop. My man Eastwood Films, he's in the back of the end zone over there.
Yep.
You know, from afar, does he not look like LeBron James?
That LBJ down there?
He's got the LBJ beard going. You know, he's sitting back there just undercover, sitting back there with Jeff Tyler. But the guy does a phenomenal job. You know, when he's not working for us, hire that man out.
Yep.
You know, basketball season comes around. When he's not working for us, get him out there, man. Does great videos, great editing, production of the whole thing.
It's top notch.
Yeah.
It's like
Top notch.
It's almost got the feel and the vibe of a Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
And you'll
That's
be able to get a
analysis.
feel for that with our summer series here with Stark Media with the high school football, and hearing the coaches get after their kids a little bit. You'll hear the whistle. You see the grass coming up, the sun coming up for the first session during the day. Guys getting hosed off with water. Just getting after it for the start of high school football season. And we're really excited about that.
Hose them off, Mark. That's like when you take the pony out of the stable and you got to hose them, dry them, brush them, put his blanket on them, feed him a little bit of hay, and he's good to go.
Hey, and how about when they used to give you salt tablets back in the day, and water was a gift to you?
Yeah, right.
Let me tell you about a gift. So speaking of my dad, he's telling me when he was playing high school football, in between two-a-days, steaming hot out there in Eastern PA, they give you a Coca-Cola.
Oh no!
Wash it down, baby.
And he said it was the greatest Coca-Cola he ever tasted in his life,
I
man.
bet.
But still, you're dehydrating your body
You're right.
even more.
I remember my dad, who he played at McKinley. It passed many years ago, but he played. This was back, but he played for Herman Bupperierick, who's one of the all-time great coaches ever. And my dad played 3 years for McKinley, and then got a scholarship to go down and play for the Gators of the University of Florida. And he would tell me how hot and disgustingly humid, and he said our guys, he played on the line. He says our guys, they were in dorms, no air conditioning, barely had fan. He says they would dunk 50 bed sheets in buckets of ice water, and they would wrap up before they went to bed at night. That's the only way they could sleep, because it was so damn hot and uncomfortable down there. And and the coaches down there, they didn't care.
Right.
You were a Gator. You were going to run in the heat. You were going to lift in the heat. You were going to sweat. And Lord knows they weren't getting water breaks down there like they are now.
No.
But I remember him telling me that. It was unbelievable.
That's where Gatorade was invented.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, because Jack Youngblood, I don't know if he told you that story. They tested it out on these guys. He said, we were all getting sick after we drank this. They go, we'll change this. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll try something different.
He said a couple choice words about what it actually tasted like.
Yeah, but that's not for public consumption.
Well, no, yeah. But
Apparently neither was the Gatorade.
Zing, ba-dum-bum. Well done.
Hello.
That's when he moved on, like you, to become a master of the grape.
Oh.
If it's not going to be the juice out of the Gatorade, it's going to be out of the grape making wine.
Little scoreboard update, TJ.
What we got?
Maple Heights is up 7-0. Harding was knocking on the door, but it was a pass defended back of the end. Maple Heights is going to go back on offense, up 7-0.
I think we can all actually, from what we've seen all day, but really now combative, competitive, and that brings out a lot in you. But man, it's physical out there.
Boom.
Blown coverage there.
Maple Heights.
One post wheel right there, corner sucked in.
Yep.
Wow.
Right up the boundary for the touch.
And how about this? You got Steve Arnold, Warren Harding going against the young man Shaq Washington, who's coaching Maple Heights. I know it's just 7-on-7, but that's a nice little dynamic right there.
It's super competitive out there right now. You see those guys? They're breaking up passes at the 5-yard line. These guys don't have any shoulder pads on. They got their helmets, but you're getting a little contact. It's almost like Talladega Nights, man. Ricky Bobby, Rubbins racing, right?
Right.
But this is stuff right here that I think is perfect as you're getting ready to go into feel of 100% live, where you guys know when you're out there playing a game, it's 100% live. When you're in practice, maybe 85, 90%. It's never all the way live. Guys don't want to get hurt. You're not getting that 100% accurate look. This right here, I feel like you are.
They're getting after it out there.
They most certainly are. This is, for the first week in June and 7-on-7s. I'll take this. I'll sit here and I'll watch this all night.
Big
Look at this.
Ooh. You know, to me, I always joked and said 7-on-7 is football without linemen is a veggie burger. So there's sometimes this is hard for me to just sit back here and what feels like we're missing the interesting part of the game here. But
beef.
Right, but I guess it's better than sitting at home, I guess, right?
Could be sitting down at Bender's eating a cheeseburger.
Shout out Bender's. Kitchen's open till 2:30.
That's right. That's right.
I'm sure Walt's there right now. My pops is over there holding the corner. His new favorite place.
I don't think they serve veggie burgers at Bender's, though. Them all-American beef down there.
Check out those wings, too, man.
This has been great. It's exceeded my expectations.
Yeah?
Honestly. Yeah, I think that the turnout that we've had here has been great. Having the food vendors over here has been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Pete down there guiding Dave Jingo, showing him coverages. Well, Kenny Pete, what do you know about coverages, man? Come on, man. Come on, Cakes.
Cakes.
Come on, Butt Cakes.
He's bringing
Where
it
they
down.
at?
Yeah. Teach you, don't bring us cakes. We're going to slander you on the air.
You got Robs. You got them in your car right now, man. That's not where they're supposed to be.
Miss a drop off.
We need that presentation piece up here. Cakes
right.
everywhere.
Cover 2 for Kenny's. Carrot cake and red velvet.
Yeah.
That's what he knows about cover 2.
Boom.
I think he's opening another store, too.
Yes,
I think, too, is it a little bit north?
I believe so. And,
That's what I thought.
What everybody has said about his bundt cakes is absolutely true. It's like crack. You eat one of those things, you can't stop.
Well, I will tell you this. We have, I don't know, son Dylan just turned 15 a couple days ago. I think from the time Kenny got involved with his store, that's where we have gotten our stuff for every birthday.
Yep.
Mine, my wife's, my in-laws.
That's good.
And we rotate, We'll get a couple of this flavor, we just rotate. And
Yeah.
they don't last.
No.
Whether you get the big ones or you get the individual ones, the little taste tester kind of deal, they don't last.
They're like Pac-Man dots.
Yeah. Right?
Gone.
Right?
Get the little sampler pack, get one of these and one of those.
One of those, 2 of those, a couple bucks. And see some boy here up with the whole spiel.
I'll give you a good little story about Kenny. So when I first got down there at Ohio State, just JP and I were kind of talking. You get down there, you think you're going to play right away. It doesn't work out that way for everyone. So I was a scout team guy for my first 2 years, and we won the national championship that year. Went by really fast. It was just like it was a total blur. But playing scout team against Kenny Peterson, interception, Maple Heights. Kenny was one of those guys.
A little celebration
down there.
You talk about getting that live look in practice. We took a lot of pride knowing that we were servicing the best defense in the country that year and getting them ready. Now, Kenny, every day in practice, you get in there that one-on-one, those one-on-one drills, he'd be chirping him, TJ, let's pull back a little bit, man. Let's make this thing look good. Let's win the Academy Award because the eye in the sky is everywhere.
Right.
They are recording everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so Kenny and I, we had this little dance move that we would do where it looked like it was a full-out UFC mixed martial arts fight, but we weren't doing anything. We weren't doing nothing. But on the film,
Look good on camera.
Well, on the film, we were doing it all. All right, Kenny, man, he was the best. And when you talk about some of these businesses that he started up, Kenny was one of the smart NFL players.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys, they burn through all that money that they make very quickly. By the time, and Kenny will even tell you this, it wasn't until his 5th year at Ohio State where he really was a full-time starter, didn't play a whole lot under John Cooper, was one of those guys that maybe some would have said kind of underachieved when he got down there, considering the career he had here at McKinley. And when he got under Coach Tressing, we got into that 2002 season. He dominated the best center in the country, Brett Romberg from the Miami Hurricanes. The guy won the Remington Award for the best center in college football. And Kenny Pete had 3 sacks against him in that game and dominated him. And that took Kenny Pete from potentially being an undrafted free agent to get drafted in the 3rd round, played some great ball with the Packers and then with the Denver Broncos. And what Kenny did right when he got done, he took his money and he put it into businesses.
Yep, started
he was doing
investing
stuff
very
there,
wisely.
started doing stuff back here, and that was a smart move to make, and you can see why he's had the success that he has.
TJ, he couldn't get past the crab block, though, could he?
No. The crab block had not been developed yet at that time.
JP does not know the story.
No. Yeah, I think JP's got a little bit of crab in him.
No, I mean, when you
We all
taught
got a little crab.
where you taught me that.
Yeah. So we were down there getting ready to call the
Another
Touchdown.
one. Wow. Just throwing dots.
Maple
Post
Heights
over
is
the
just
top.
throwing it, slinging it.
The fans talking smack, walking by. Man,
I
does it get
think
any better than that? It's a 7-on-7. Like, man, that's a 3 picks we got on
He's like,
them.
my cousin got 3 picks.
I love it, man.
It was Central Catholic. Don't get hurt down there, guys. But Central Catholic was on their way to beat Coldwater in that national or the state championship game.
Yep.
We sat out there with Tim Roop from Harmon's Pub. We're eating strombolis and enjoying the cold weather and the camaraderie and some refreshments and having fun. And so Mark wanted to learn about the crab block, which was developed against a defensive lineman by the name of Alan Branch from Michigan, who ended up playing a long time with the Patriots, Super Bowl champ, Arizona Cardinals. Him and I were in training camp together. And Alan, when I first went against him in 2004, he was a true freshman. He was 380 pounds.
Oh,
big
And
boy.
I'm sitting here starting at left guard at like 290. I'm like, okay, science is going to play a part here.
Another pick.
Wow.
Incomplete.
Science is going to play a part here, right? So I can't just come off the ball and try and take this guy. We're either going to stalemate or he's going to push me back a little bit because he's got 90 more pounds on me. So that's when the crab block was developed. You know what? Got to get into that thigh board, start scrambling them, start just kind of arms, feet, just moving. And I took him about 15 yards back into the end zone one time on a touchdown run by Antonio Pittman. And
threw up the pinchers.
I threw up the. No, I was. They thought I was doing the Johnny Manziel, doing that money in the back of the end zone. But that day, the crab block was born, man.
Nice.
It's kind of lived in its own lore and legacy since. And so I taught Mark in the parking lot of the Horseshoe.
Oh, nice.
we're out there in coats and gloves, and I'm down there on the ground scramble.
He was
blocking
Alan
Mark.
Branch.
Yeah, I was scrambling him.
$165. These people are going by and go, that's like taking a bat to a baby seal. What's this guy doing to this guy out here?
We're teaching. We're teaching.
Yes. Obi-Wan.
Master Splinter.
This is not the block you were looking for.
Oh my goodness.
Too much fun, man. We're going on hour 6 now.
We are. We're going strong. I'm gonna tell you what. It's the sun's setting here pretty soon, and I doubt at this time that they're going to turn the lights on. So
That's
I mean, wow.
Maple pitches the shutout.
I think that was it right there.
Just queued it up.
It's a wrap.
Defensive coordinator,
That's
Bubonics.
That's it.
Pitching
So
the shutout in the ship.
Maple Heights was either 14 or 21-0 over Warren Harding for the Kempthorne Motors Classic 7-on-7 championship game here at the Halden Fame Village Sports Complex. Sam Berkwin, TJ Downing, Dana Rohde, Mark Milano, JP Simon, Jimmy Ballard, Lee Foster, Jeff Tyler, Drew Sarackman. Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, they're going to be presenting a trophy here, I understand. And hopefully we can pick up that quick ceremony. And we'll get some great video and photos and start to put. We'll hang out here with you for a little bit longer. But by the time everybody gets cleaned up and out of here, we'll be ready to rock and roll. But 21-0 the final score. Maple Heights is your winner of the inaugural, the first of many, Kempthorne Motors 7-on-7 Classics presented by Stark Media.
Looks
What
like
a
the
great
Heisman
day of
Trophy,
football,
don't it?
right?
The Heisman.
There it is. If those of you watching on our YouTube channel, on Facebook Live, Stark Media.
Heisman-esque.
That's a good look.
You're right. I
That
think
was a good
TJ
look
taught
right there.
Troy Smith that Heisman pose, didn't you?
You knew that was coming at some point today, right? So this was a lot of fun. Great football. A lot of great athletes out here today. Some great defensive plays, too, as well. We had some great food, and we had lemonade, and we had a whole bunch of great stuff going on. And Again, make sure you join us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, our YouTube channel, keyword Stark Media. That's keyword Stark Media. Follow, retweet, share, like, all kind of good stuff going on. And, yep, got it. 21-zip, our final score of Maple Heights, and we'll have a little presentation here. I think
there they come.
There we go. Eastwood Films is getting all of it for you. TJ Downing's going to get ready to hand it off to Kent McClellan, and he's going to hand it over. And
man, Eastwood is just everywhere, ain't he?
He is. He's going to get in
Stays where the action's at.
This should be a pretty cool moment. The young men from Maple Heights getting their championship trophy. Again, look for great video and photos of all this on our Stark Media social media platforms.
Look. Think they wanted that dub today?
I think they did. I think they did. Oh, yeah, they're getting after it. Eric Kempthorne's going to present the Kempthorne Motors Kickoff Classic Trophy. There's Coach Shack. Oh, they're going to leave without getting the trophy.
No, here they go.
There we go. Coach Shack, so let's go to the bus. He said, no. We got some hardware to give away.
Dub and get out.
We got some hardware we got to give away. Good job, guys. Good job, fellas. Nice job. Good stuff. This is what it's all about right here. I don't care, 7-on-7 or if it's the state title game. These little moments of camaraderie and friendship, and just you're with your brothers for a couple hours on a Friday during the summertime. This is what it's all about.
100%.
Hey, we might as well photobomb this too, right?
No doubt,
right.
man.
We might as well.
Hey, get the trophy from Eric.
Get the Stark Media logos in there.
That Heisman trophy.
Right.
That's that Kempthorne Motors Kickoff Classic trophy. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Oh, yeah, now they're saying go get the look at Here they go.
Hot dogs.
Hit the food trucks.
Sausage.
Food vouchers getting cashed in.
The food trucks don't know what's about to hit them.
I think they just closed the windows, didn't they?
Go through half a tank of propane back there.
Oh, that's funny. So congratulations to Coach Shack Washington and Maple Heights, the winners of our inaugural Kempthorne Motors Classic 7-on-7 presented by, powered up by Stark Media. Good stuff. Good stuff. Also want to thank Canton Insurance Agency, Nathan's Patio, Nationwide Mortgage, Deca Lash, Spirit of Stark, Stark Media, Simon Says Productions, Stark Media, the Bulldog 100. Thanks to all of our crew here today. And
our guy Eastwood Films getting it
Tony
done right down
Eastwood.
to the thick of things, man.
I can't wait to see this footage. I can't wait to see the production, the audio, how it's going to look. It's going to look nice.
My man Eastwood looking like he's looking for that sausage truck now, don't he? Long day for him,
I got
too.
a Euro,
Eastwood
little
film,
lemonade.
Looking good. I'll tell you what, this was a lot of fun. We got some great things planned for you with Stark Media. Again, follow us on our social media platforms. We are going to be doing high school football, basketball. We got a great partnership with one of the monster media conglomerates coming up. We're going to be making that announcement here very, very soon. It is right now, but we're excited.
Malvern Hornets said everything was great today. Thanks for having us up. We'll definitely be back next year.
Awesome.
So,
Coach,
if
we'd love to
everybody
have
else
you.
around Stark County is listening, man, make sure that you're coming out to this event next year.
Come on, AJ Sarbaugh.
Well worth it.
Come on now, let's go.
Stark Media, nobody does it better. There's our tagline.
There it is.
There you go. We allowed to steal that?
Absolutely.
Did somebody once have Nobody Does It Better? Or that was a song back
The
in the
Nate
day.
Dogg song, wasn't it?
Wasn't that Linda Ronstadt? Nobody Does It Better?
Maybe
I don't remember.
maybe there's a
God, that was
remix
so
that
long
caught.
ago.
We're going on 6 hours, man. We're getting a little stir crazy talking about Linda Ronstadt.
Woo.
There's actually a song from a Bond movie. I think it might have been Sheena Easton that sang.
Sheena Easton, yeah.
To get a Stark Media
The
trivia
pony.
team together,
The
we'd be
pony
undefeated,
pulling it
man.
out of it.
Hey,
Yeah.
trivia night, Nathan's Patio. Be
Man.
there.
Stack the team up.
That's right. But this was fun. I also want to thank Dave Jingo, of course, Kent McClellan, Eric Kempthorne, all the support staff, all the support folks over here at McKinley. And I've just to be able to be on this stage in this facility with all this great talent and all this fun on a Friday in early July is pretty special. Already looking forward to next year. Don't want to rush through that, but if you thought today was good, how things go.
He's over here saying, wait. He says, wait until the Tigers win in Week 16, man. Let's go.
I was just thinking we got to get the Tigers here at the 7-on-7 next year. We look like we was missing one today.
Oh, come on now.
We'll get them down here. We'll get them down here.
We'll kind of get into that. We'll get some folks from the Federal League. We'll get a couple independents, maybe going up to Green a little bit, maybe a little Dover, New Philly, maybe a little Orville, a little Mansfield, a little Worcester. Bring it all together here on a great.
Why was
great
it that
Friday.
Stark County schools didn't get in this?
I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I'm sure some coaches have, some just don't like to do it. Maybe some had some other, they wanted to use their practice days. Here, I'll tell you what.
Drew
Let's give it to Coach Drew Sarakman here, and you can fill us in on me. And look, if you didn't get involved, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you're going to want to be in it next year. But Drew, why maybe some that opt out of 7-on-7?
I think it's a timing thing. A lot of these coaches do their schedule back in February. That's part of it. And a lot of them have their routine. They like to go to Ashland. They like to go to this one. They like to go to that one. And then the other thing is a lot of them might not have enough in. Enough in.
So, let me stop you there real quick. There was a lot of kids that are going to be playing here in the fall that weren't here today.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing baseball. They're doing other stuff. Maybe they're gone or whatever. So kudos to but you're right. A lot of kids just weren't available. So that's maybe another reason.
Yeah, and I think it's an install thing too. Some of these coaches don't have everything they're installed yet. They're not ready for that many, and they might be ready for like one other team and slow, But these guys, seem to have a lot of their offense in and their defense in, and maybe that was part of it too. But I'll tell you what, it was a great event. If I was still coaching, I'd bring my team here. I mean, it was awesome. It was competitive. It was quick. It was organized. You're not walking a mile from one field to another, and the weather was perfect. So just give us this weather every year.
And I think that's the key word from talking to you the other day, and all the events like these that you've been around, is that events like this can go to hell in a handbag real quick.
Yep.
Unorganized. If it's not, people are wondering, where do I go? All that. That was not the case here. From what you did with Trench Life to what everybody did out here for the Kickoff Classic, it was completely organized, and to me, it ran seamlessly.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And again, I can't wait to, over the next several minutes or hours or days, go back and watch footage of this, videos and photos, and hear some of the great audio and see the celebrations. Again, Stark Media, that's your keyword, Stark Media, all the platforms, Facebook, Twitter, our YouTube channel, Instagram, Stark Media. Make sure you check it out. Guys, let's go around the room maybe one time and a final thought, or before we wrap up this big day of football and fun here at the Hall of Fame Village. JB, go ahead and just yell into that microphone.
I'm just wondering if my neighbors, if he's having beers tonight, or if he's cooking out, because I'm ready to eat, man. I haven't gotten over there, and I'm not trying to jump in the middle of that line right now because I ain't trying to lose an arm.
Smelling that sausage all day.
Shaq gonna take me out if I try and grab a gyro.
All right.
No, what a great event, though. I mean, for the first time, it's only going to get better. And we'll be able to really have enough time to really promote it, to put it out, to get it, as Coach Rackman was saying, get it on the schedule for a lot of teams that usually have their 7-on-7 schedule set. I mean, there's no better environment, there's no better facility. I mean, you got fields up and down. You could do 40, 50 teams here easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it could start at 9:00, and it could be an all-day type of thing. It's going to be awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be a part of it with you guys, and everything we have to look forward to this year, the stuff that we spoke to Tall Pete about from the Alumni Academy the other day. Some stuff coming down.
Major League football coming here. Got
a lot of stuff coming, man. A lot of stuff coming.
Yep, the Freedom Bowl.
It's exciting.
That's right.
A lot of stuff going on here at the Hall of Fame Village.
Busy times. Pony? Let's go to we'll check in with Jeff, then we'll go to Drew, TJ, JP, Dana, and we'll wrap it up.
I'm going to forget that order by the time.
So will I. Don't worry about
it. It seems like it's been forever since we had done a high school game, and it was so great just to be able to get out here and see it again. I mean, I'm such a big high school football fan, plus the opportunity to get together with all of you. And I mean this sincerely. I don't think that anybody in the state of Ohio brings broadcast to games better than this group does right here. And I'm not saying that because of me, but when I listen to what you do, it's like listening to a college game.
It's got to be you, Pony.
No.
Hey,
we've got a really good-looking sideline girl that's going to be out there, and everybody's going to want to talk to her. They're not going to want to talk to me.
Are you worried you're going to lose your job?
I lost it already.
You've been promoted.
No, I mean, as he said, it's been since for us since Winton Woods beat Hoban in the state championship game. So that was back December 2nd, I think.
It was cold.
Yeah. You didn't cry though.
That was the game before.
I'm gonna
Allegedly.
be the one crying tomorrow when I'm out here trying to throw the ball to you, running routes, and guys are breaking me off on defense. No, this was phenomenal. I appreciate everybody's hard work, and I think this is something that we've kind of set the foundation here, and now it's time to soar off into the stratosphere. And again, as you mentioned, you win with people, so you can't do what we do without good partners in the community, and we're fortunate to have that.
But JP, what do you got?
Sure, and just to build on that, I thought year one it was a great event, good turnout. I think next year, hopefully, we get some more Stark County teams involved that we kept hitting on all day. Trench life, it went smooth. It's always good to do something with the big guys. I hate when we take our team somewhere and our guys are just sitting on the sideline eating sausage all day. So, it was good to get the big guys out here rolling, grow on it for next year. For me, it was good to the second half of the day to hang the whistle up and come chop it up here on the mic with you guys. You know what I mean? I really don't usually get a chance to do that. I'm usually on the field getting booed and yelled at, but today was a good time and look forward to see what next year brings.
Oh, you got it, my man. Dana?
Yeah,
what do you got over there, girl?
Absolutely a blast. I was out there on the field, so I got to hear it firsthand. Not just with the energy on the field, but the excitement, even the refs. The refs, the coaches, the kids. Good time, excited to be here, and just what a well-organized event. I was talking to one of the refs down here during the semifinals, and he said, you guys really did a good job out here. Once again, everyone had a great time. Everyone, performed well, and just blessed to be a part of this team, to feel that energy and that excitement that football's back. We're a couple of weeks away before the official season kicks off, and so great things to come.
Yeah, welcome aboard. Jeffrey T, Jeff Tyler, what do you got?
Yeah, so it was incredible to be on the grounds all day, walking around, seeing the excitement. There was so much energy, especially when we were doing tug of war, and JP did an awesome job running that, and those guys were going at it, man. I got a couple awesome videos I can't wait to post because they were grinding, and what I liked about it was, it wasn't chippy. It was a lot of good fun with all
here to work
all the
here
time.
To work. Get better.
Yeah, all of them. They were congratulating each other from different schools, even Massillon McKinley guys. I said it right, JP.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
And we talked about that today. How rare is that? When you exclusively see them in week 10 and sometimes the playoffs, to have Massillon, McKinley on the same field, banging it out, having a little bit of work before the season even starts.
Sure. And I got to tell you that, having the shirt on, walking around, I had so many people come up to me and say that this was incredible. Like, they're completely blown away. They realize we're a young company, but from what I've heard already, we nailed it.
Awesome.
We nailed it.
Yeah, some great reports and responses from the people
Shout
that were
out
here.
to those guys out there, man. Dave Jingo, Kent McClellan, putting us on. Good people.
Absolutely. I also had a chance to talk to Eric Kempthorne for quite a bit when I was down there, and he's ecstatic. Yeah. He did an incredible job sponsoring this. Saw him walk around taking videos, and he's a football fan. So you could tell he was enjoying it.
When you got the president of the company doing 360s out there with the video, you did something right.
That's right. Drew?
Yeah, like everyone said, great event. It's only going to get better. The other thing, I think we got to give a hats off to McKinley coaching staff out here doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes as far as organization of the actual competition. And I think all the coaches came away happy. I don't think we had an injury today.
Exactly.
No, which is awesome with that many kids. That's what it's all about. Get out here, compete, have fun, learn some lessons, stay healthy. And I think it was a great job. All the sponsors, awesome. But like I said, those McKinley coaches did a great job, behind the scenes too.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Do want to shout out our good friends, Eric Kempthorne, of course, Kempthorne Motors. Easy, fun, and friendly. Kempthorne Motors by Canton Insurance Agency. Nationwide Mortgage. Shout out to Nationwide Mortgage. Nathan's Patio. Hello, Nate. Hope you're doing well. Have a great weekend. Decca Lash. Simon Says Productions. The Spirit of Stark Media. And, of course, our good friends at the Bulldog 100. That is going to wrap up our coverage of the first of what we hope is an annual event here at the Hall of Fame Village, the Sports Complex, Stark Media, the Kempthorne Motors 7-on-7 Classic for Dana and Jeff and Jimmy and Drew and JP and TJ. Yeah, check us out. YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and on all those platforms, and get involved. Stark Media. Hope you enjoyed, everybody. Have a great weekend.